And enjoy the 150th Scottish Cup final. I can tell you the sun has made an appearance here at the National Stadium. Terrific colour. The stage is set. Celtic against Rangers. We'll hear inserts from Willie Miller and Bobby Madden alongside our commentary team of Pat Bonner, Billy Dodds and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks very much, Kenny. 150 years since Queen's Park and Clydesdale strode out at the original Hampden, a few hundred yards from here. The two most successful teams in the history of the Scottish Cup come together to contest this season's final. Celtic going for a record trophy number 42 and a second successive triumph, while Rangers are looking for a 35th triumph and a second in 3 years. Only one of these two will hold aloft that self-same trophy that was won by Queen's Park in 1874. We are about to discover which it will be. It is, as Kenny mentions, almost classic Scottish Cup final weather. The sun has emerged. There is barely a breath of wind out there, and it looks very much like a pristine surface with a sea of blue off to our left and a sea of green away to our right as we await the emergence of the two teams from the tunnel. Brendan Rodgers standing at the mouth of the tunnel, about to lead his team out, with the Rangers team alongside them, just waiting for the signal. And this place will get even noisier as both teams come out onto the Hampden surface, led by the match officials. Nick Walsh is the man in charge of this afternoon's game, taking charge of his second Scottish Cup final, as Brendan Rodgers and Philippe Clement lead their teams onto the Hampden pitch. As the fireworks go off, the fans rise to acclaim both sets of players ahead of what really does promise to be a special occasion. It's a 16th Scottish Cup final meeting between these two giants. It's perfectly poised. At 7 victories each, the cup withheld in 1909 after the infamous Hampden riot. Both sets of supporters letting off smoke bombs, fireworks, all sorts, adding to the colour certainly and the noise as the teams go through the handshakes. And the stage is very much set for a special day here at Hampden. A quick run then through the sides once more ahead of kick-off. It's Joe Hart in goal for Celtic, a back four of Alistair Johnston, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Liam Scales and Greg Taylor. In the midfield, Matt O'Reilly, Callum McGregor, Rio Hattati. Up front, James Forrest and Dyson Maida on the flanks. Kyogo leads the line. For Rangers, it's Jack Butland in goal. A back four of James Tavernier, Leon Balogun, Ben Davies and Ridvan Yilmaz. In the midfield, Nico Rashkan and Mohamed Diamondi, Todd Cantwell ahead of them. Dujon Sterling and Fabio Silva on the wide areas, and Cyril Dessers to lead the line for Rangers. Well, we can barely see the pitch for a mixture of blue and green smoke out there. It is an element that has been added to these big games in recent years, for better or for worse. But the action will very soon be underway as both sides vie for the final say in what has been another terrific season, another eventful season in Scottish football. Will it be a second cup victory for Rangers this season, or will it be the league and cup double for Celtic? They're going for a 13th double, not including the various trebles, the 8 trebles they've won. And James Tavernier and Callum McGregor, their respective captains, have gone through the coin toss with Nick Walsh, the referee, and we are just about ready to get this spectacle underway. Who will be the victors come the end of play? It might mean more than 90 minutes, could be extra time, could be penalties to separate these two. But Rangers haven't managed a victory over Celtic all season. You have to go back to 2018 for the last time they failed to beat Celtic at all in a season. That included a Scottish Cup semi-final. They lost 4 and drew 1 that season. It would be the same tally if Celtic were to win again this time around. And as the guys were saying pre-match, just about everything points towards a Celtic victory, but in a Scottish Cup final you just never quite know. Celtic break out of the huddle and make their way up towards the centre circle, where Matt O'Reilly, one of the star men of this season, will kick us off. Celtic will go from right to left as we look at it from the back of the main stand, in the green and white hoops, white shorts and white socks. Rangers in blue tops, white shorts and red and black socks. Mick Walsh is primed to blow the first whistle, and we are underway as Greg Taylor knocks it to Liam Scales, and Celtic look to build from the back in these early seconds of the Scottish Cup final. Slip from Carter Vickers almost allows Silva to get away from Johnston. Silva knocks it forward for Dessers, who's miles offside and doesn't chase the ball until Carter Vickers gets back there. The offside flag eventually goes up, and it will be a quickly taken free kick for Celtic. The smoke still swirling around Hampden Park on a sunny afternoon in the south side of Glasgow. Sun always seems to come out for this occasion, as Joe Hart's playing his final game for Celtic, gets it back from Liam Scales. He became just the third man to collect all 6 major domestic trophies in British football this time last season, joining Kenny Dalglish and Andrei Kanchelskis in that particular Hall of Fame, and will be keen to add a second Scottish Cup medal to his trophy cabinet before hanging up the gloves. Celtic controlling the ball in the early stages here as Matt O'Reilly knocks it all the way back to Joe Hart. Just over a minute on the clock, both sides just feeling each other out. Celtic seeing just about all of the ball thus far. Rangers trying to hunt them down. Rascan putting pressure there on O'Reilly, and there's a foul by Silva on Johnston. That could be an interesting battle, Paddy, on that Celtic right-hand side, because Johnston, for the most part, has got the better of Silva thus far in the meetings that we've seen between the sides so far this season.
Yeah, and when I watch Silva at times, he's got 2 jobs to do. One, he's got to go and attack when he gets the ball, but he's got to do that defensive role. And sometimes I've seen players run off him, and that's the key. That is the key.
Here's Dyson Maida away from James Tavernier up towards the Rangers penalty. A sliding challenge from Balogun had to be spot on, and it was, as Greg Taylor picks up and knocks it straight out of play. But an early sign and another early warning for James Tavernier that Dyson Maida is going to be right in his case this afternoon, Billy Dodds.
Absolutely, I'm thinking Tavernier just stay your ground. You're not getting there, but he goes to ground and makes it easy for Dyson Maida. But luckily Balogun's tucking round and gets a really well-timed tackle in.
Back with Butlin, goes long, first time in the left foot, clicked on by Sterling. Scales should be there ahead of Dessers on the left flank for Celtic, knocks it back to Joe Hart. Hart takes a touch inside his 6-yard box, then another one into Carter Vickers, who's still inside his 6-yard box, but gets out to the right hand side for Johnston. Johnston now motoring forward up to the halfway line into O'Reilly. O'Reilly out to the right hand side for James Forrest, looking to add yet another medal to a burgeoning medal haul already. Sterling's done well though to dispossess Taylor, and here's Diamonde for Rangers coming down the right hand side. Cantwell and Dessers trying to move up in support. It's all the way out to the left hand side for Dessers. Carter Vickers makes a challenge out for a throw into Rangers over on the far side. 3 minutes in, Celtic 0, Rangers 0.
Yeah, a few players kind of almost getting caught on the ball, isn't it, among the feet, and that time it was Greg Taylor, but Maeda didn't give him an angle for him to pass to, and he just dallied on the ball a little bit and allowed the Rangers player to come in and put him under pressure and take it off him.
Surface a little bit slippy, isn't it? Just been watered just before kick-off again. You can see a few players slipping up as well. Taylor caught the ball there.
Scales gets it back to Carter Vickers inside his own penalty area, back to Joe Hart. Yeah, the pitch is perhaps posing a few problems for some of the players in these early stages. They'll need to get to grips with that as Johnston finds McGregor with a lovely ball, and Callum McGregor gets so much space to move into. Plays it out to the right hand side for Forrest. Forrest running at Yilmaz, comes inside, breaks to McGregor inside the area. Now a chance for Forrest, just wouldn't sit for him, and Tavernier clears. The offside flag is up to ease the pressure on that Rangers backline, but Callum McGregor given the freedom of Hampden there.
You know what they're trying to do, Alan, Pat, that they're not going on McGregor. What they're trying to do is just leave one of the centre halves, so it's either Dessers that does McGregor or Cantwell, but they can't get him all the time. He'd be as well just sitting one on him and just letting one of the centre halves, but they're trying to get a press on. Celtic work it well, they get it into McGregor and he's free. It's not the best way to handle him. Willie talked about it before the game.
Well, the problem for Rangers is that they've tried a number of different things to try and combat the influence of Callum McGregor, and nothing has worked. Tom Lawrence has sat on maybe the last couple of games,
but he couldn't handle him. He just couldn't handle him, and Callum McGregor ran off him all over the place. And in that occasion, it was really clever, McGregor. He just seen that they went and pressed, and he slipped in behind him, in between the lines, and he was away.
Silva sticks a toe in, gets it away from O'Reilly, and then O'Reilly works back, gets it to Forrest. Forrest dispossessed, but he'll get the ball back as well. Neither side want to particularly keep the ball at the moment, but here's Hatate, tries to play it inside Tavernier for Maida. Maida will keep that in, he slips, edge of the penalty area. Tavernier just steps across him as he recovers his balance and sees it out of play. Goal kick to Rangers. 5.5 played, Celtic 0, Rangers 0.
I don't know about you, Pat, but Cantwell's not got enough discipline in there to handle McGregor. It's the one where whatever side they decide to go to, Joe Hart, say it's Carter Vickers, that's when Dessers or Cantwell will spring. Another one gets onto McGregor, but it's not happening quick enough.
Here's Tavernier, Cantwell's in acres of space at the edge of the box, he gets it, can he go for goal? It's charged down and behind for Rangers, first corner of the afternoon.
Yeah, clever ball there from the goalkeeper, Jack Butlin. Tavernier pushed himself up, high up the pitch. Obviously, Maeda couldn't get back in because he had slipped and he was out of position, and that allowed Tavernier to drive forward down this right-hand side and pick Cantwell out, who took it on himself, and he was right to have the shot, I think, and he's got Rangers' first corner.
Which Mohamed Diamonde will come across the right-hand side to take. 20 Rangers players making their way in and around that penalty area, looking to get the opening goal here at Hampden. 6.5 played as Diamonde gives the signal and then plays it in. Near post balls virtually missed by everyone as it goes across from near post to far post, and no one touches it, and Johnston keeps it in on that far side and then steps away from Dessers coolly and then comes forward down that right-hand side for the Scottish champions. He's infield to O'Reilly, back to Johnston, and then back to Carter Vickers. That corner kick, it was pretty dangerous, but no one could get a crucial touch, and here comes Celtic at the other end. Tavernier challenging Taylor off the Rangers skipper for a Celtic throw, 25 yards from the corner flag. Hatate trying to get it back to Taylor, but knocked away by Sterling on that right-hand side. Dessers up against Scales. Scales wins the header. McGregor plays it further forward. Diamonde back up the pitch. Carter Vickers will just try and knock this all the way back to his keeper, who's just inside his own penalty area, clad all in bright yellow. But Billy, let's go back to that, the Rangers corner, because it was a chance.
It wasn't the best corner, in swinger, low, but we've seen Silva make that front post run so many times, gets across the front man, misses it, but Dessers is the one at the back post, has got to have a gamble on it, he might get a tap in, but he's just caught in his heels.
Carter Vickers trying the big diagonal out to Maida. It's over Tavernier. Maida on the chest, early ball in, Balogun slides in, knocks it behind, and Nick Walsh points for a goal kick. Kyogo was in there as well, certainly, but looked to me to come off the Rangers defender, but he stayed down, which is an early worry for Rangers, having just recovered from his latest injury.
Yeah, it was a good diagonal ball there, wasn't it? It was perfect for Maeda just to knock it beyond Tavernier, who had kind of half committed himself and was caught then on his heels, and the ball into that near post area. And I thought also that the defender got there first because it was a chance.
Yeah, it certainly was. There was a quick check on that incident, but it's quickly over as Balogun is back on his feet and plays it back to Butlin. But as Tom was pointing out again pre-match, Rangers don't have a designated defender as such on the bench, so they can ill afford either Balogun or Yilmaz to succumb to the injuries that have troubled them in recent times. Dujon Sterling's the only real option that we could drop back, as he did after John Souttar had to go off at half-time at Celtic Park. He dropped back from right wing to centre-back, which is he is really the epitome of versatility for Rangers, and he's had to be. Here's Scales just crossing the halfway line, 9 minutes played, no goals. Just tries to help it forward into the path of Maida, comes off a Rangers body and out for a throw in this near side. Celtic attacking down the left-hand side. It's Taylor midway inside the Rangers half, looking to hurl it long into O'Reilly, knocked away though. And down the Rangers right-hand side, it's out for another Celtic throw-in, just in front of Philippe Clement's technical area, which he's out of the edge of right now, as Greg Taylor prepares to take the latest throw-in. Looking for options on this left-hand side. Hatate offers himself. He's tracked by Diamondi. Nick Walsh says you need to just go back a few yards to Greg Taylor before he eventually will take the throw-in, and it is into Hatate, who just slides it back to Carter Vickers on the halfway line in the Glasgow sunshine. Forward he comes, out to the right it goes to James Forrest. Silva's with him, midway inside the Rangers half, comes infield, back to Liam Scales, into the feet of Kyogo. Kyogo just clips it forward, but Davies is there to just knock it clear. Taylor heads it back down the left-hand side. Here's Maida. Maida moving away, trying to move away from Cantwell. Cross comes Sterling, still in play. Sterling battling away there, comes off Taylor in the last instant, and it's out for a Rangers throw-in. Tavernier takes it quickly down that right, looking to release Sterling. Cross comes Scales, he heads it behind, and it's going to be another Rangers corner as Greg Taylor's gone down off the ball, but it's good persistence from Sterling, I have to say.
It was all down to Sterling and Cantwell just rashing the Celtic players, and then Tavernier grabs the ball and Sterling just takes off, and then he shows his strength just to chase Scales and get the mistake to get the corner. Really good play from Dujon Sterling.
Yeah, I'm looking at near post area again. Obviously you've got Kyogo in there, not the biggest guy in the world. McGregor's just right on the corner of the 6-yard box, and there's that space in behind McGregor.
Diamondi from the right-hand side once more, left-footed. Joe Hart gets a good punch towards his back post, clear for James Forrest to go and chase, and he knocks it back to Alistair Johnston. Infield it comes to the penalty area for Carter Vickers, who plays it to Scales. Scales forward for Callum McGregor, moving forward up to the halfway line, plays it to O'Reilly. O'Reilly just inside his own half, out to the right-hand side for Forrest. Raskin trying to pass Johnston on as the ball's played into O'Reilly. O'Reilly with a wayward pass straight behind for a goal kick. 11 and a half on the clock here, and it's Celtic 0, Rangers 0.
Yeah, good approach play from Celtic from back through midfield, but then O'Reilly gets the ball. I thought he could have driven on himself there and maybe tried a shot, but he tried a pass, I think, for Kyogo for the little run, but just totally overheaded. So the final ball is not coming off just quite well for Celtic.
But they freed up McGregor again, didn't they, before it got to Riley, and it's a case of got to be set before they go. They just do it off the cuff, and then Celtic just play through it, get it to McGregor, and they're on the break.
Up towards Dessers, just inside the Celtic half, back with Cantwell, and now out to the right-hand side for Sterling. Hatate and Taylor both with him. Sterling still has it on the right. Up towards the goal line he goes, trying to play it off Taylor almost for the corner, but it breaks the way on Maida, and it's back to McGregor, and then O'Reilly tries to clip it forward for Maida to chase. His pace is better than that of Tavernier, but Balogun's on the cover again, and he gets it back to Jack Butland, who coolly plays it out to the right-hand side, and Diamondi picks up possession. Infield it goes to Raskin, preferred there to John Lundstrom, who's on the bench, hasn't played since his red card, the rash red card, you'd have to say, at Celtic Park, which cost the side any chance of getting back into that game. Here's Yilmaz just getting away from Forrest. Now Raskin hasn't really been favoured by Philippe Clement since he came to the club, his fellow Belgian, but chosen today as the ball's played forward, looking for Sterling. Taylor gets to it first, but Sterling has it. Right-hand side of the box, rolls it back to Tavernier, into the feet of Cantwell. I'm not sure that first touch was intended as either whether it was poor control or a misplaced pass to Dessers. Either way, it goes all the way through to Joe Hart, and Celtic build from the back once more.
It's better from Rangers though, Alistair, in part where they are getting a bit of the ball, makes Celtic work off the ball to build that move.
Scales allowed to come a long way. Dessers trying to stick with him, but it's still Scales almost up to the edge of the Rangers penalty area. Left-hand side, plays it off Dessers, and it will be a Celtic throw-in.
he's done well, Scales, you know, but he needed a pass. He just needed a pass. And Maeda ran on the way on the inside, and it was blocked off, and he just kept going. Now he got his throw down the left-hand side, but people need a show for Scales when he steps into midfield.
He definitely wanted an option, wasn't he?
Johnston playing it out to the right-hand side for O'Reilly, midway inside the Rangers half. Both sides still looking for the opening goal as Raskan can't get there ahead of Johnson. He plays it to Forrest, back in field for Hatate, and now out to the right-hand side to Johnston. Feigns away from one Rangers challenge. Davies makes a sliding challenge there on O'Reilly to knock out a play over on the far side. And it will be a Celtic throw in about 10 yards or so from the corner flag on the right. As Brendan Rodgers' side look to carve out the opening goal. O'Reilly now, right-hand side for Celtic, plays it off his own boot there, it seemed, and it's behind for a Rangers goal kick. And you have to say, Billy, Rangers probably relatively satisfied with the start they made to the game.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, Al. They're hanging in, they're not showing enough on the ball. They've had one build-up move where they're making Celtic work off the ball. You can see Celtic, they've got the confidence to get the ball down, knock it about. They're hanging in there, I would say that.
Here's Cantwell though, trying to do a bit better than that. Finds Dessers, edge of the box. He'll go for goal, comes off Scales. Cantwell can't get there ahead of Carter Vickers, but it'll break to Diamondi, edge of the box, trying to get onto that left foot. Can he find room for the shot? He's not got too much in the way of support, has to go back the way to Raskan. Now Tavernier onto Cantwell quickly, right-hand side. Tries to play it into the box, but miscues that dreadfully. And it's over Joe Hart's bar for a Celtic goal kick. 15 and a half on the clock. Celtic nil, Rangers nil.
Yeah, two possibilities there for Rangers. The first one was Dessers, and he just swiped at the ball in a great position. I know strikers like to take on shots, but that was almost like an impossible. It was too quick, too rash. And then in the last instance there with Todd Cantwell in a great position to put that ball across between the goalkeeper and the fence, and he just hits it away over the crossbar.
Carter Vickers
early nerves, I would say. Sorry.
Yeah, Carter Vickers out to Scales on his left-hand side for Celtic. Tracked by Cantwell, back with Carter Vickers. And now Joe Hart out to Scales once more. It's been one of the real success stories of this Celtic team. And he plays a good ball forward for Hatate. Diamondi just caught wrong side. Out to Maeda, it goes on the left. Trying to take on Tavernier, gets the ball in. Balogun's there. Tavernier gets it once more on the stretch. Just manages to get it back to Diamondi, who does well against Hatate, and then finds the ball inside for Raskan. Out to Cantwell, it comes on the right-hand side. Tries to move away from Hatate, fouled by the Japanese midfielder. Rangers free kick, just a yard or so in from the touchline, midway inside their own half. It will be a Rangers free kick, 16 and a half played, and no goals as yet.
He's been good, Diamondi. Brilliant start. He's the one showing composure on the ball. Tavernier did well, gets the tackle in, and then he passes out. I think Rangers have got to do more of that without taking chances, showing that they've got composure, they've got confidence on the ball. Make Celtic work a wee bit harder off the ball.
Balogun out to Tavernier, early ball forwards, not a good one. Right to Greg Taylor, but Diamondi's pinched it off him, and now Rangers might have an opportunity to come forward. It's Cantwell taking over. Stelly makes the move ahead of him. Cantwell chooses to go left instead to Silva. We've barely seen him, but he's away. He's done well against Johnson. Now it's Silva inside the box, tries to dig out a shot, but he was always just trying to almost dig the ball out between his feet. Couldn't get it. Purposeful shot, and it's an easy save for Joe Hart. But the first real effort on goal from Rangers. Celtic nil, Rangers nil.
Yeah, it was a good effort and good skill actually to beat Johnson. And you know, we watched in the game in the last game when Celtic or Rangers were 2-0 down. He got the ball and he was really quick and dynamic in that forward position. That's exactly what he did there. He just couldn't get a lot of pace on the ball across Joe Hart, but forced Joe Hart into a decent enough save.
It was almost as if, again, the ball was just slightly holding up under his feet. But here's Hatate at the other end, trying to create something. Balogun knocks it out of play, and it will be a Celtic throw in 18 minutes gone. No goals for either side yet in this 150th year of the Scottish Cup. We've had, of course, a number of years where it wasn't contested, so not quite yet at the 150th edition of the Scottish Cup. But nonetheless, an important anniversary of the competition, and still, as the guys were talking about pre-match, it's still a very illustrious day in the Scottish football calendar. Good play in the midfield between McGregor and O'Reilly, who emerges with the ball. Now it's out to the right for Forrest. Forrest into the penalty area up against Yilmaz. Away from him, also Raskan. Back to McGregor, who plays it square now for Taylor. 25 yards from goal, clips it to the back post. O'Reilly's got free. Hatate with a shot, blocked by Davies. That might have been troubling Butland had it got through there, but good block in the end by Davies. Comes back for Scales. He tries to clip it towards the back post. Too much on that. Time for a goal kick. 19 minutes on the clock, and an opportunity perhaps to hear the early thoughts in the game of Willie Miller.
Yeah, well, I think Celtic really started on fire, didn't they? And Rangers trying to put them under a bit of pressure. Don't think it worked particularly well, you know, trying to put the two centre backs. Maybe better leaving them with the ball, because it allowed Callum McGregor to get on the ball and be influential. But I think Rangers have worked their way back into it. Two certain midfield players, I think, have done particularly well, particularly Diamonde, but Raskin in there as well. And I don't really think, as the game has went on, that there's too much in it. Celtic just ahead, you would think, in terms of possession, but Rangers definitely still in the game.
It's lovely skill from Diamonde in the centre circle, really showing what he's all about, and as Billy said, showing great composure as Raskan gets it forward to Cantwell, out to the right hand side now for Sterling, up against Taylor on the Rangers right. Cantwell, early ball into the box. Carter Vickers had slipped, and he still manages to get the header clear before Dessers could get the shot away, and Celtic managed to clear the line, but Rangers pick up once more. It's Raskan out to the right hand side for Tavernier. A couple of options in the middle. Can he find either of them? No, he's just straight into the gloves of Joe Hart. You expect better from the Rangers captain in that kind of position, as Hart now bowls it out for Johnston. 20 minutes played, still no goals, but as Willie says, Rangers coming more and more into it, but they have conceded a free kick there as Forrest goes down, sandwiched between Silva and Yilmaz, but an opportunity there for Tavernier to do better.
The more they use the ball, you can see them grow with confidence, saying, right, we can actually hurt Celtic, and that's exactly what's happened. And it's Diamonde that's setting the standard. He's the one saying, look, I believe myself, this is just not a bit off the ball, trying to close Celtic down, you've got to take it.
O'Reilly was in a great position there as he was.
I don't know what's wrong with the players. Obviously they must have, they're either wearing the wrong studs or they're wearing them moldies, that because they look as a nice warm day, but the pitch was watered, and there's players slipping all over the place.
Yeah, O'Reilly was in a good position there, but he lost his footing as Sterling is dispossessed there by Maida, and then he's dragged to the ground, the Japanese winger, by Sterling. Celtic take the free kick quickly, and it's into O'Reilly, who will look to influence this game without a doubt, and add to his 19 goals. An incredible haul for the midfielder this season.
Going back to the cross, Al, you were right with Tavernier, but he's looking up, Dessers having a go at him, but he wanted, Silva and Dessers were both back area, he wanted one of them across the front, because it wasn't a bad ball in, and Hart's able to take it easy.
Here's Maida, left hand side for Celtic. Taylor in support, midway inside the Rangers half. Back it goes to Liam Scales. He gets it back from McGregor, then he's forced back the way to Carter Vickers as Rangers close him down. He gets it to Johnston, who in turn finds Scales. Rangers trying to put that press on Celtic, but so far Celtic able to play around it unperturbed and trusting in their own ability to play in tight spaces, as Hatate does now. Then plays it into the feet of Carter Vickers. Unhurried here, Celtic, as they trust in their own ability to find the opening goal and ultimately find the victory, as they have done more or less throughout the season against Rangers. It's Carter Vickers now for Johnston, just inside the Rangers half, comes forward, out to the right it goes to O'Reilly, and then further right for Forrest, back with O'Reilly, midway inside Rangers territory, back now with McGregor, just inside his own half. Here's Greg Taylor coming into a central area. McGregor once more, patient stuff from Celtic, looking for the opportunity. Scales pass for Maida wasn't a good one, but he's won it back off Tavernier. Now Taylor into the box, Hugo slips, tries to still play it, comes off Davies, who clears behind. There's some claims, I think, for a handball in there. It didn't look likely. Yeah, it didn't look likely to me, but you know, fans will always claim. Some of the players claiming as well, to be fair.
I think Celtic, some Celtic fans want a penalty, and it's Kyogo's flicked it, and Davis, his hands are down by his side, and so close to him, it's come off, maybe an arm, but no chance of penalty.
No, check was quickly completed. It will be a Celtic corner though, as Davis to knock it behind, and Celtic have got a 2-on-1 out here on the left if they want to take the shot.
Hit his hand, and just looking at it here in his hand slightly, but I'm not sure that, no.
O'Reilly plays the ball into the 6-yard box, and Kyogo was there, but he couldn't get up just on the shot, and Butland able to gather and immediately play it out, but that was a half a chance there as the ball came into the Rangers penalty area.
Yeah, he just couldn't get any purchase on it, Kyogo, when it came to him at the back post, and there was a half-decent chance. You know, another day maybe he would have been able to free himself and get a better strike on it, but he just couldn't get away from the defender.
He does like a goal against Rangers. He likes a goal at Hampden. Kyogo likes a goal pretty much anyway, let's be honest, and you wouldn't put it past him to be on the score sheet again this afternoon, but not on that occasion, as Dessers works the ball out to Sterling on the right hand side for Rangers. More or less the halfway line. It's Tavernier now clipping it forward. Cantwell's got a bit of space, he's in behind. McGregor claims for offside, nothing given as yet as Cantwell plays it in. Dessers, great block in there by a couple of different Celtic players, and then Carter Vickers knocks it behind and takes Dessers out. At the same time, it will be a Rangers corner. Could have been so much better.
Yeah, again, O'Reilly slipping in the box when he looked as if he was going to get back in to put the block initially on. He slipped, and then he had to almost provide a bit of luck to throw his feet at it, and I think he got the second block in, but a big chance for Dessers inside the box.
Well built up there, wasn't it? Tavernier picking out Cantwell down the right, he pulls it back into the area. O'Reilly can't get there, and then they're just throwing bodies in the way. Dessers shot.
Yeah, there was a couple of checks going on there for either a handball or indeed a foul by Carter Vickers, but both of them have been cleared by John Beaton, who's in the VAR room. Bobby Madden is on hand here should there be any major talking points in terms of officiating decisions, but we haven't had any as yet. So Diamonde will prepare to take this corner kick again from the right hand side, but not before Nick Walsh has a word or two here with Raskan and Taylor at the back post, who are
yeah, there's that space again I talked about initially, Billy, and at the near post, just behind McGregor.
Right. You know what, Pat, the two out, so it's Ron McGregor, and they'll try and run Silva across that front area with the in-swinger, and if it overhits, then the other Rangers players are in at the back, but got to get McGregor out of that area.
Dessers is still feeling the effects of that Carter Vickers challenge as Diamonde sends this one in towards Dessers at the back post to get something on it, but you can only hook it well wide of the target, and it will be a Celtic goal kick. And after 26 minutes, we are no nearer the deadlock being broken. Celtic 0, Rangers 0.
Well, Celtic so far, they haven't really created any big chances. They haven't tested Jack Butland in the Rangers goal. Obviously, Joe Hart had one save from Silva, and there's other half chances, you've got to say, but no real big saves for the goalkeepers.
The Rangers seem unsure as to who's supposed to be marking Callum McGregor at the moment, as he picks up once more in plenty of space. Both Raskan and Silva were holding their arms up as just to say, well, who's meant to be on him, and the answer was ultimately that nobody was taking the responsibility. Celtic have it in the middle of the park.
Yeah, I'm looking at those positions of Celtic's fullbacks again. They're almost in about 15-20 yards in from. Here's a chance.
Yeah, here is a chance. The ball comes into the Rangers penalty area, dealt with by Davies, who knocks it out on the far side for a Celtic throw-in, but Rangers need to ensure that someone takes that role on.
But they're not designated to mark McGregor, and that's the problem, because they're trying to spring onto their centre halves, the Dessers and Cantwell, and then when the midfielders go high and they're trying to get either Raskin or Diamande to go onto McGregor at some point late, but by that time McGregor's picked up the ball, turned round, and he's feeding Hatate. They've got to spring it better, Rangers, and they're not doing it. Nobody's really getting to grips with when and who and when to go to get close to McGregor.
Ultimately, you think they'll be made to pay for that if they don't solve that conundrum sooner rather than later. It's Johnston in possession, trying to find the feet there of O'Reilly, but it was well read by Raskan. It breaks out of the Rangers penalty area, and it's picked up by Sterling. Bit of a Stramash there in the middle of the park as both sets of players battle for the ball, and eventually the free kick goes Rangers' way as McGregor was penalised for the challenge, and
Sterling and Diamande are setting the tone for Rangers. They're just up for it and all over Celtic at times, and they're winning that battle in there so far in terms of strength and determination to come out with the ball and at times go and pass it.
Here's Balogun just inside the Celtic half. Sterling, it's a poor attempt to pass there, and Hatate just lets it run out of play for a Celtic throw down in front of Brendan Rodgers, who's never lost in the Scottish Cup. He's never lost at Hampden. He's only lost once to Rangers. So many factors point towards, as I said, a Celtic victory this afternoon, but so far it has been even Steven as Dessers clatters Hatate. It wasn't a vicious foul, but Hatate definitely bore the brunt of that challenge.
And more a clash of bodies coming together than anything else, you know. And he it always was a bad throw. It bounced up on him, and he had to get to it. He tried to control it, and then he had to go to flick it on. And I think Dessers had probably every right to maybe go and challenge him, you know. But he did come out worse, Hatate. And
it was more of a bump. You're right, Pat, and it's probably the fall that's made it so sore.
Yeah. Just Billy, I was just saying about Celtic fullbacks. They're almost playing about at 15-20 yards inside the pitch, and when the centre halves get a ball, the only pass that they have on at times is down the side of them, and then the wingers are kind of almost get man marked, and then they hesitate a little bit, and it's not quite flowing for them.
This is where they're different from Postecoglou's teams. Fullbacks don't go all the way at times.
Here's Johnston now going all the way up to the edge of the penalty area, pokes it through, looking for Kyogo. Important interception there by Yilmaz. Still comes back to Johnston, and Butland has to turn it behind for a corner. Looked like a more comfortable save than that, but he couldn't get a hold of it, and it will be a Celtic corner after a purposeful run from Johnston.
Yeah, it was a deflection, wasn't it? And initially came off Silva, I think, and eventually then an inner deflection, and then he had to turn it round the post.
Man United have gone one up. Garnacho's got the goal in the All-Manchester FA Cup final as O'Reilly plays it in from the right-hand side, flicked on at the near post, no takers at the back post for Celtic, and it's going to come all the way out here to the left-hand side as Celtic attack for their throw-in. So potentially a shock in the cards down at Wembley as Erik ten Hag perhaps looks to go out on a high, if indeed he is to lose his job, as many people suspect, at Man United. Greg Taylor prepared to take this throw in. 31 played, Celtic nil, Rangers nil. Nothing hugely demanding for either goalkeeper as yet, as Kyogo can't bring that under control, comes off his right thigh behind for a goal kick. And as I say, Packy, both keepers will be pretty happy with the way things are going so far.
Yeah, that was another save there from Jack Butler. I think he was always going to save. He just couldn't hold on to it and give away the corner. But yeah, you know, but that's been poor. That was a poor throw in there from Celtic. They were in a great position, high up the pitch, and they end up giving the ball straight back to Rangers. Those are critical details that they should be doing better.
Yilmaz and Cantwell on the left-hand side, midway still inside their own half. Cantwell all the way back to Jack Butland, will be closed down by the ever-willing Kyogo. Out to the right-hand side it comes. Tavernier tries to head it on for Sterling, but can only succeed in heading it out of play. And I've heard people talk about him being spooked almost playing against Celtic, particularly when Daizen Maeda is on the field of play, and you have to say that he hasn't been at his best so far this afternoon, arguably in the last month or so. Here's Carter Vickers at the back for Celtic. 13 minutes left of the first period, still no goals as Scales brings it up to the halfway line. Looks over the top for Maeda. It's an obvious out ball for Celtic as Tavernier tries to get back at him. Maeda just steps away and then plays it infield for Hatate, but Diamonde's there, a good challenge, and then slides it up the right flank for Rangers. McGregor across, Dessers there to make the block, but it breaks for Hatate into the feet of O'Reilly. Davies was there, Maeda picks up though, Diamonde sliding in once more. Good challenge again by Mohamed Diamonde, and then Sterling gets it back to Tavernier, who clips it up to the halfway line. Dessers won't get there, and it's back in the possession of Celtic with Carter Vickers.
Yeah, Diamonde, you're right, Billy. He's the most composed on the pitch. He's putting his tackles, but he's also, and I'm looking at some of the actions from the Celtic players, the ball's bouncing off them, it's not going into place, they're trying things, and I don't know, I cannot be there's a poor pass from McGregor. I can't be nerves because he shouldn't have any nerves today. They won the championship, they can go out and relax, but it's not flowing properly for them.
Here's Raskan in a difficult area, but he manages to spin away from O'Reilly and get it back to Davies on the edge of his own box, and out to the left-hand side to Yilmaz, who was an injury doubt before the game, and he's given the ball away there to Forrest. Now it's Johnston. O'Reilly, right hand side for Celtic, trying to shake off Silva. And now plays it back out to Forrest on the right hand side, up against Raskan. Comes into Johnston, who's well advanced once more, tries to flick it through for Kyogo. It will come to Kyogo, well challenged though by Raskan before he could unleash the shot from the edge of the box, and Cantwell should keep this in. Right hand side for Rangers, deep in his own territory though, plays it forward to Tavernier. Hatate trying to get back with him, but Tavernier has shrugged him off. Forward he comes, the Rangers captain. Dessers makes one move, then the other. Tavernier didn't see the other and plays it in the near channel. Scales was there, and Celtic mop up, and it's easy possession again for Celtic.
Do you know what? It's not a bad run from Dessers, because he goes to go near post, and I can understand why, but Celtic have it covered, and then when Tavernier puts his head down to hit the ball, he's peeled back the way, and Tavernier's pass is wrong.
Here's Taylor, left hand side for Celtic, looking to get the opening goal before half time. Poked out a play by Balogun. It is somewhat cagey, you'd have to say. Neither side wants to concede the opening goal, of course. Neither side has really gone that extra mile to go and get it as yet.
I wouldn't put it down to be cagey. I think it's just been, quality's been poor at times. You know, they're in great position. I'm just thinking here, looking at Celtic, and
the nerves should be gone, Pat. 35 minutes in, you have nerves pre-match and maybe first 5-10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Throw in Celtic. Taylor though straight to Balogun, and it will break off McGregor for Cantwell. Yeah, it has been a little bit untidy. Cantwell taking a chance in there, and he's fouled by Hatate, perhaps fortunately for him, because he was trying a little step over and drag back in an area where losing possession was not really an option. But Hatate will be spoken to by Nick Walsh. Again, it's not a dirty foul as such, but he did catch Todd Cantwell.
Yeah, he dragged the ball back with one foot and then got caught with Hatate sliding in and just caught his standing foot, and it looks maybe a wee bit more serious for him than just that standing foot pulled him away, and whether he's pulled his groin or whatever, I'm not so sure.
The studs get stuck, don't they, and the knee goes beyond him, and that's a sore one. He maybe should have released the ball, I know, but he's caught a sore one there.
Yeah, well, Rangers don't have Tom Lawrence, who has been the kind of either or option with Todd Cantwell. Todd Cantwell's flummoxed as to why the Rangers medical team are not on to treat him as yet, and eventually they are waved on by the officials. I think that was the issue, rather than them being reluctant to come on themselves. They had to wait for permission. I guess his break and play gives another opportunity to bring in Willie Miller as to his own thoughts as how things are going so far, Willie.
Well, I think the Rangers manager will be probably the happier one, because, you know, looking at the performance so far, it's been a lot better than I expected. I think their midfield have coped extremely well. Even with the fact that Callum McGregor's on the ball all the time, I can't believe, you know, that Cantwell isn't getting closer to him. He's not really interested. It's almost like a token gesture. He'll go and he'll get close from time to time, but McGregor is pulling the strings, and you know, you're then looking at Diamonde and Raskan being in there against three and doing extremely well. Diamonde absolutely top class, as Dodgy was talking about, you know, getting about, great attitude to it, strong physically, putting in challenges and driving forward when he gets the opportunity. You still feel that Celtic have got the upper hand, but Rangers aren't far away from them.
Thanks, Willie. Yeah, 8 minutes to the first period left. Todd Cantwell is off the field of play just now, having had that treatment. Looks like he'll be fine to return, and Philippe Clement was just taking an opportunity there to give him a few instructions before he went back on, and I wonder if he was passing on effectively what Willie was saying there, and as Billy's been saying as well, in terms of his off the ball work. He's just given the ball straight to Callum McGregor, having come back on the field of play, and Celtic have it deep in their own area. It's not a great pass from Taylor to O'Reilly. We did well enough with it, and then Scales dinks it out to the right hand side. I'm not sure Johnson will catch that one before it goes out of play. It hasn't been altogether smooth stuff from the champions, but here they could be in as Kyogo looks like he's beaten the offside trap. Yilmaz doing well though to get back and stick the boot in. Rangers clear out of the penalty area. Silva though is lost out to Johnston on the right hand side. Johnston, does he catch that before it comes back across? Well, no flag. It continues. And it will be in the end a Celtic throw-in on this near side. It came off a Rangers head, I think, as it came across the 6-yard box. Did look like it might have crossed the goal line before Johnson got to it, but the assistant on that far side didn't flag. 2-0 2-0 Manchester United against Man City in that FA Cup final, and it's Manu who scored that goal, so a real shock potentially on the cards, although it's still first half down at Wembley. It's still 0-0 here at Hampden with 6 minutes of the first period left to play. Carter Vickers.
There's a position there, Greg Taylor again. I know it overloads the midfield, but for Rangers, they're dead happy that people are all crowding in that midfield because you can deal with it. It's when you stretch them is a problem.
Taylor swings it into the back post, but again Rangers have dealt with that. Silva picks up left hand side, goes back the way to Yilmaz, just knocks it forward, but it's an aimless one, and Carter Vickers chases it down for Atati. Now it's McGregor. You do feel that if Celtic were to step things up here, it might be here for the taking for them, but as yet have been relatively pedestrian from the favourites. As Scales plays it back to Carter Vickers on the halfway line. Yeah,
but that's the problem there. Scales is picking up a ball, and you know the only pass he has really on is a little dink in the midfield, or back to his centre half again, because Greg Taylor is almost, he just pulls wide 10 yards. That opens up a channel that he can play into. Then Maeda can go into that maybe channel or whatever. So that, for me, that's just stopping the flow of the game at the moment.
So too the Kyogo foul on Balogun, stopping the flow. Free kick quickly taken as Davies does well to find Cantwell, who's dragged to the ground by Callum McGregor. His first yellow card of the afternoon for the Celtic captain, as Cantwell was in a relatively dangerous position and threat of moving clear of McGregor had he not brought him to the ground. And the first booking of the afternoon from Nick Walsh, who's, you'd have to say, kept a lid on things pretty well. Not that they've threatened to get out of hand at all, but that's the first yellow of the afternoon with just under 5 to play in this first half. Rangers moving down the right hand side. Sterling gets his head to it, but there's no teammate within 10 yards or so of him, and he's unable to find any of them. Here's Kant Park as now Raskan for Tavernier. Sterling infield for Diamondi. Slightly heavy touch, does manage to get that back to Raskan, back into his own half to Balogun, who just comes forward onto the halfway line. Just took a touch there from, hits the ground again, and it'll be another Rangers free kick on the halfway line. It is all a little bit scrappy just at the moment. It hasn't certainly been a first half classic at Hampden. Time yet.
Suits Rangers, hard to say. Keep it scrappy.
You can see them growing, can't you, Pat? Like, even like Balogun, comfortable on the ball at the back, got good pace, such an important player to get back the team today. We've talked about Sterling, Diamandi, just shown that we're not just here to work off the ball.
Here's McGregor as Rangers give the ball away. It was Yilmaz with a poor ball, and now Celtic can come forward. Forrest tries to cut it back, but Davies had read it well. Hatati was the target. Now it's forward for Silva, trying to turn away from Johnston. Johnston sticking with him for the moment, but Silva has done well, and he earns the free kick for the pull eventually by Johnston. Quite quiet, Fabio Silva, but there are signs that when he gets on the ball he can get the better of Johnston.
He's been more disciplined today, Al, than what he was in the last Old Firm game, Pat. We were talking about how he just let players run off him at times, and it's so important to concentrate for that 90 plus minutes.
Tavernier forward down the right channel. Sterling with his shoved there by Scales as he tried to get onto the ball. Nick Walsh didn't see anything wrong with it. The VAR has had a very quick look at it as well, and there was nothing for them to report either. Did look to be outside the box if there was any indiscretion there from Scales, as Hatati is shoved to the ground there, and it will be a Celtic free kick, and the noise level just rising as the Rangers fans and Philippe Clement just protesting about a couple of decisions there that go against their side. But it will be a Celtic free kick out on this left hand side, midway inside the half, and an opportunity here perhaps for Celtic to try and test the Rangers goalkeeper with just 2 minutes left of the opening 45.
It was outside, but it was a push, I've got to say. Hand on his back from Scales when I look at the replay, and he was lucky there, Scales, but it wouldn't have been a penalty. It was outside. But what Greg Taylor has got not to do is go too tight on Sterling, because he knows he's got a bit of pace. threaten it, but also then get your body shape in a way that you can deal with the ball over the top. He's not doing that. He's kind of almost overcommitting himself.
Because you're right, Sterling's stronger than him as well.
Celtic take the free kick square, Scales to Carter Vickers, and then back again, and back once more to Carter Vickers, about 20 yards inside the Rangers half. Scales has it once more. Will he go and field this time to McGregor? Yeah, he's been dispossessed by Dessers, and now it's Sterling. The quick break was on there perhaps, but Rangers still have possession. It's Cantwell on the right hand side, steps away from Taylor, looks for the pass. Dessers had slipped. Silva will do really well if he gets on to the end of this. Johnson's there ahead of him, he nudges it behind under pressure from Silva, and it's good play from Silva, you have to say, forcing the corner, and Rangers in the last minute of the 45 will have a chance to put pressure on the Celtic back line and look for the opening goal just before the interval. 0-0.
Yeah, Sterling did well again, and we thought he never spotted the pass, but he did. Gets it up to Cantwell nice early. He uses his body, get beyond the midfielder, try to track him, can't foul him, and he doesn't hit a good ball. It's a diagonal, but I'll tell you, Silva does well, shows good pace, strength, determination, and makes Alistair Johnson give away the corner kick.
Yeah, we're going to be a couple of minutes added on beyond the end of the 45, which we're just ticking towards right now, as Tavernier goes across to the left hand side. Can Rangers strike a late first half blow here to get their noses in front in this Scottish Cup final? Tavernier from the left hand side will be the right-footed in-swinger from the skipper, right in on top of Joe Hart, who has to punch it over the top of his crossbar under no real pressure, but it was a difficult one to deal with. Certainly, Paddy, happy with the way he dealt with that?
No, you've got to deal with it. There's too much pace on it, and I think it's right on the crossbar, so the best option is to just tip the ball, punch it, or tip it over the crossbar and deal with the next one. But Silva's actually got into that space too early. He's almost going in and dragging in somebody. See if he stays away, there's a huge space behind McGregor tonight.
Tavernier again from the left hand side, another one right on top of Joe Hart. Again, he deals with that one well, punches clear this time. Hatate helps it on. Cantwell will retrieve it, and he just spins away from my eyes. Done well, Cantwell moving back towards the penalty area, and it goes. Scales with a good clearing header, and he was fouled by Balogun as he tried to win it late, the Rangers defender. But really good defending from Liam Scales there to earn his side the free kick inside the penalty area. A minute of injury time has been played, and it's still Celtic 0, Rangers 0.
Yeah, it was a decent ball in, and he did well. Scales got up with good height against one of obviously Rangers targets, Balogun, who's a lot taller than him.
Here's Carter Vickers back to Joe Hart. Looks like it's going to be a goalless first period at Hampden. Rangers have won the last two Scottish Cup finals between the sides. There was that famous last meeting in 2002, the 3-2. But the one before that was decided by just the one goal. Rod Wallace in 1999 for the only goal, and as this game edges on, it's looking more and more like maybe one goal will decide that, but you never know. Second half could be entirely different, as it's a poor throw-in, but Johnston manages to get the ball back in Rangers territory. Rangers clear though up towards Dessers. He can't make anything of it. Last few seconds of the first period. Scales clips out looking for Forrest. Yilmaz there ahead of him though, on by Raska. Now it's Cantwell. Cantwell inside his own half looking for options. Silva's close to him, but still Cantwell takes it over the halfway line, but nothing really doing, and Nick Walsh brings a fairly uneventful first half to a close, you'd have to say. Nothing major for either goalkeeper to do. There was a Silva shot early on, pretty easily saved by Joe Hart. Jack Butland turned another effort around the post from Alistair Johnston. Dessers had a shot blocked inside the penalty area, but pretty quiet affair altogether. Maybe the second half will spark into life, but at Hampden at half time it's Celtic 0, Rangers 0.
Celtic versus Rangers.
Goal! He runs towards the Celtic fans and slides on his knee.
Rangers have the breakthrough!
Outstanding!
The Scottish Cup Final, live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
So goalless here at Hampden in the Scottish Cup final. Celtic up against Rangers. Let's get the thoughts of Willie Miller on what we've witnessed in the first half there, Willie.
Yeah, well, quite a quiet affair, as Al kind of pointed out. What have I made of it? I think Celtic started really brightly and controlled the game maybe for the first 15-20 minutes or so, but Rangers have fought their way back into it. I think Callum McGregor's been a star performance. Liam Scales not far behind as well. I think Liam Scales has been pretty outstanding at the back and driving forward and building the play up. I think from a Rangers point of view, I think their two sitting midfielders have done particularly well, and Diamondi and Raskand, because they're in there. They should be outnumbered, because I don't see Cantwell doing too much to help them out in terms of getting back, and picking up Callum McGregor. I think from a Celtic point of view, I think Forrest, Kyogo and Hatate have been pretty anonymous, actually. They haven't really had an impact. We're expecting the two wide players. Forrest has probably been better than Hatate, but Hatate really doing nothing down the left-hand side against James Tavernier, who's handled him pretty comfortably. And Maeda has not been in the game whatsoever. I don't think he's had an influence at all. So although I'm looking at Celtic thinking they're looking probably the most likely, I still feel that Rangers aren't too far behind them. I think the game could go either way. I do think Rangers have defended extremely well. Their back four, good shape, the two sitting in front of them, and it's really restricted Celtic in terms of creating opportunities. I still, if I'm Rangers, if I'm looking at the game, I'm still worried about Callum McGregor, because he's got the ability to control that game, and they're certainly not closing him down enough. They're giving him too much room to have a major influence. And if Celtic can get the players round about them to actually play Hatate, Forrest and Maeda, then I think the game is there for them. But Rangers look pretty dangerous as well. I'm not discounting Rangers at all. I think it's been pretty even at half time. 0-0 is probably about right. Not too many opportunities being created from either side. And you just hope that it's going to liven up a little bit in the second half. And I think there are players out there, I think particularly in the Celtic side, that aren't playing to the level that they should be playing. The players, the forward-thinking players, the players that can create, wide players, they haven't created much for Kyogo at all. So I think Brendan Rodgers will be a little bit disappointed with the first half performance. And I think the other hand, I think Philippe Clement will be happy. He'll be happy with what he's got from his players out there. I still think that Callum McGregor, if I was to pick one player that needs a bit of attention from a Rangers point of view, it's Callum McGregor. It's certainly an intriguing affair. Tom English, as I look across the gantry, I see a few notes in your pad there. What have you jotted down from that first 45? One second, Todd, just got a slight issue with your mic there. We'll get that sorted. We'll come to you in just a second. Let me just bring in Bobby Madden, who's alongside you, and see if his mic's working a little better. A fairly quiet affair for Nick Walsh in the first half, Bobby?
Absolutely. I think from the players there was quite a nervous start, and I think it's important in that stage that the referee maintains his composure, doesn't add to that nervousness. And I think outside that, Nick was essentially anonymous up until 40 minutes when he produced a correct caution for Callum McGregor for stopping a promising attack. I think there was a half-hearted penalty claim for Celtic around 25 minutes for handball, but the guys in commentary were absolutely spot on. Short distance and not punishable, so I'd say a good first half for the match officials. And just one final thing, correct for Nick Walsh to have a word with Philippe Clement. He was getting a bit animated down there. Yes, I think it was looking for Nick to call a foul just outside the Celtic penalty area, and he was quite animated. I think Nick's probably done the right things I think it's important the manager sets the tone sometimes for the players, so Nick's probably taking the opportunity just to try and just address that and set a new standard, and I think it was the right decision. Right, Tom English, you're back with us. Your thoughts on that first half?
I think Rangers have done exactly what they needed to do. You look at previous games, they conceded 2 goals by now, so they're battling, they're working. Really, their work rate is through the roof, and Diamondi typifies that. I think he's been excellent. Sterling typifies that. I think he's been excellent. I think the 3 of the back 4 have been really, really good. 2 centre halves and Yilmaz, they've made big contributions, been very alert in defence. Tavernier is wasteful in possession and looks vulnerable to Maeda. But you think of the moments for Maeda, Kyogo, Forrest, O'Reilly, there hasn't been many. So they've managed to neutralise the guys who've caused them untold damage this season in these games. So far so good for Rangers. They're in again.
Yeah, that's a good point that Tom's made there in terms of neutralising the Celtic players, particularly that midfield. I know Callum McGregor always looks dangerous, Billy, when he gets the ball, but there has been a big improvement in the middle of the park for Rangers today.
There has, and the boys are saying easy for anybody to know is Diamondi. What a class player, but not just off the ball, on the ball, composure. I'm going to play. I'm not just here to close you down, Celtic midfielders. I'm not just here to run after Callum McGregor. I'm here to go on it and pass it. And you know what? See, if it comes to that physical side, I'll more than match that as well. So he's set the tone. I'm like, Willie, I still feel Rangers have got a little problem. And I'm only saying that because I had it last season with McGregor. You think you've got him.
Yeah.
You think you got him in this game. But it's when he gets on the ball, gets that space and gets turned. Because Hatate and O'Reilly, and they played last year as well, get forward and they get in those pockets. And your centre half should be saying, he's a striker now, we'll get him, but they don't, and they feed it into him. But Cantwell's not disciplined enough because he's asking Raskan, he's asking Diamondi at times, you take McGregor if we have a little press in the centre halves. And by that time it's too late. McGregor's round and the pass is gone and they're fed to Tati. It's the only problem Rangers have got, and it's when they spring it, and they've sprung it a couple of times and they've robbed McGregor. But you've got to stay so concentrated at times, and your centre half has got to pick up whatever midfield is highest, because he's now the second striker. It's timing. You get a split second to think about it. It's hard to get that message across on the pitch, but you've got to do it.
There has to be a constant fear for Rangers that they're, as Dodgy said, they're going to switch off. McGregor's going to get on the ball. He's going to find O'Reilly. O'Reilly's going to do what O'Reilly does. Kyogo's going to appear and it's going to be a goal. Like, just in the blink of an eye.
It can happen.
It can happen that quickly.
But Celtic,
but Rangers have been very, very disciplined so far.
Yeah, and Celtic, Brendan Rodgers will be really disappointed, I think, at Celtic, because they've been very wasteful when you get into those positions. They've fallen over the ball, they've had bad passes, and I would like to see the two fullbacks even go a little bit wider. I know the natural situation for Greg Taylor is to go on and play as an inverted fullback, and he's done it well, but that suits Rangers. They're keeping it very compact in there, and if they can't slide that ball quickly to the wide guys, and maybe the wide guys have got to get a little bit more movement to create space to get that first pass. Otherwise, if Greg Taylor just opens up 10 yards, it opens up almost a passing line, and then you can get Maeda or you can get James Forrest going inside into that pocket. It doesn't always have to be the midfielder, and that might create a situation for Rangers that they may have to adapt to, and that might just spook them.
Are any of you surprised that Rangers are competing so aggressively with such discipline?
No, I said to you, but anybody that says this game, listen, I might get egg on my face, but anybody that comes on and says 3-0 Celtic, crazy, because it's the type of fixture. You hear the FA Cup final straight away. Man United beat Man City 2-0. It can happen. It's on the day. It's two big clubs who are going to be up for it. I go back to where Rangers have got to be careful, Kenny, because, as I said, and I suffered it because in the cup final last year, I was quite happy. 6 minutes to go to half time, nothing happening. Celtic fans getting a bit frustrated. Suddenly, my centre halves don't pick up O'Reilly, who's burst into the box. He crosses it and Kyogo bangs it right in the top corner. And that's the only bit I'm scared of. Like Willie, although he's given the ball away a couple of times, he has such an influence and he'll keep picking at you till he gets you. And if you don't stay disciplined and you think you can do it the way Cantwell and Dessers are doing it, I think you can get Rangers at some point. That's the only bit I would be worried about.
Yeah, Willie, one thing I'd pick out here, the versatility of Dujon Sterling is incredible, isn't he? He's a real athlete, a real powerhouse. He's going to be a key player, you'd think, for Rangers moving forward.
Yeah, definitely, and he's shown all of that talent this afternoon in the first half. Such an important player, good strength, good ability, skillful player, but he's got the other side of it as well, along with Diamondi too, and you need that at times, that physical attribute. But yeah, Sterling, very important. He's been the one. The other side, Silva's not done as much, but certainly Sterling is in both sides of the game, defensively and offensively, he's been impressive, and I think Rangers have been impressive. I think it's been a very, very good first half for them. I like their shape defensively. I thought they might be more open in terms of getting the fullbacks forward, but the fullbacks have been pretty disciplined, and they've sat most of the time as a four, but when they had the opportunity to go forward, then they will, particularly Tavernier. The two sitting in front as well, Diamondi and Raskin in front of them have been disciplined. Diamondi in particular breaking moves up. You know, you haven't really seen Maeda and O'Reilly, and Dodge is right to point out, you know, maybe that is an omen for the second half. You don't have to see them on too many occasions. It's just the odd occasion that they then make that decision. McGregor's on the ball is passed into them, they create the opportunity, and who's there? Kyogo to put it in the back of the net. So although I think that Celtic can do much better, I think their wide players are staying too wide. I'm with Pat. I think at times surely they come in and get the full-backs just to mix it up a little bit, to give Rangers something to think about, because I don't think that their back four have had too much to think about so far in the first half.
Rangers are very comfortable at the moment.
Yeah.
Really comfortable, and they're dealing with that ball that slid between the lines and getting Matt O'Reilly or something in there. Maybe it's down to Celtic not being sort of almost efficient in that position just yet. They can always do it, that's what you're talking about, but they haven't done it so far, and they're comfortable on that, and it's been broken up. But I just think a little bit more movement, different type of movement, just can almost ask questions of Rangers, and it can't be always the same thing all the time. When you're up playing against it, you're quite comfortable, you know what's going to happen. Surprise them a little bit more.
What about the options, Billy, if they're looking to the bench in the second half? Again, Philippe Clement has more options today, and actually he's got a fair bit of pace on the bench this afternoon, and Celtic of course will get players on there that can influence this game. At what sort of point do you expect to see the changes if we've still got a stalemate?
Rangers I think will stay the same to maybe late on. I think Seaman will come on at some point, maybe McCausland, but you would think if those two are coming on, they're maybe chasing the game. It might just be one sub if they're still level or leading. I can definitely see Seaman coming on, they rate him so highly. But they've got options there, as Tom said. That's a lot of forward options, but for me the centre back is covered, because if anything did go wrong with Balogun, he's the third one that's been outstanding. Balogun,
really good, isn't he?
Yeah,
really
got
good.
that pace, got that composure. If anything happened to him, I think Dujon Sterling would slip back in there, or even Lundstrom, as Tom said. So the centre half is covered. It's not ideal, but it's covered. So there is options all over the place. But I think Rangers, if they're leading, you can see the likes of Ryan Jack coming on. So, and Lundstrom, you get plenty of options in there.
I think the next goal, or the first goal in this game now, becomes even more crucial, because you've only got 45 minutes, and whoever gets it, they have something to really hold on to and play for. So it changes the whole dynamic of the game. Who gets it? Is it Rangers? And that gets a problem for Celtic. If Celtic get it, of course they can go on and win the game, and the confidence would be improved. But I think now the goal is a big thing. We could see extra time, of course.
Pat, what will the message be from Brendan Rodgers to the players down below us in the dressing room?
I think two things. One, a bit more composure on the ball. Get the ball quickly to the wide guys. The wide guys getting a little bit more movement, and get the ball, and then take on and force Rangers back. I think their movement off the ball isn't up to what we've seen in a number of games recently, and I think that has to be improved. So I think there'll be clear messages from Brendan and how he wants the game to play, the tempo of passing, and a wee bit more composure on the ball.
You're right with the wide players, Pat. They've got to mix up. You can't just, Wally's touched on it as well, Maeda stay wide, Forrest stay wide, get the ball cut in. They've got to say, right, I'm moving you, Johnson on the overlap, your width is your full-backs at times, and mix up, and then Rangers have got a problem. Or when they do go inside, this is where he's different from Postecoglou. Taylor would end up as a striker at times with Postecoglou. So with Johnson, if we go in the box, they go so far and they stop now. That's the difference between Brendan Rodgers and Ange Postecoglou.
It's too easy. I think it's too easy for Rangers to defend against Celtic in the first half. They haven't had to think much at the back. You know, it's not as if you're getting the wide players coming in and the full-backs going wide, or vice versa. I just think the two wide players are just hanging on to the touchline, when really they've got to have more movement, just to shift the Rangers full-backs, to give them something to think about. And I know, if you're a central defender and you've got two sitting midfield players in front of you, and you're playing against a three, and the Celtic two wide players are not doing anything to disrupt you, then it's quite an easy afternoon.
Well, Celtic players first back out onto the park. The Rangers players now making their way out goalless here in the FA Cup final. Man City 0, Manchester United 2. Let's get back to our commentary team. Again, inserts from Bobby Madden and Willie Miller, but our commentary team this afternoon is Pat Bonner, Billy Dodds and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. The two teams pretty much back out on the field of play, although Todd Cantwell just having one last final drink of energy juice, no doubt, before coming back on. I thought there was going to be a change. In fact, there is going to be a change, yeah. Sima is coming on. And is it Dessers who's not re-emerged?
Yep.
It is, yeah. That is an interesting one. So, do you imagine, Billy, he just goes straight swap, right up top?
Yeah, Sima will go striker. Absolutely no problem with that. He's actually played well for Rangers when he's, on the occasion, played there out.
Well, again, he's another player who's had injury issues in recent times, but Philippe Clement feels he's able to come on and give him at least a half. Might need more than that, depending on how this 45 goes. We're back underway. Rangers with just one win in the last 11 meetings against Celtic, and that was the final meeting of last season when the league was already won by Celtic, and you could argue the last meaningful Old Firm victory for a Rangers side was in the Scottish Cup semi-final 2 years ago, as Sima picks up for the first time, and Rangers going from right to left in this second half. He hits the deck, then Sterling is challenged as well, and it's out for a throw-in over on the far side. Would you suspect, given the timing of that change, Billy, that is a knock to Dessers rather than a tactical change at this stage?
I would think so. You're not sure, you're only guessing, but you would think that Dessers has maybe picked up a knock. He wasn't influential in the first half. He wasn't getting about as well as he could and as well as he has been at times. Wasn't that physical presence. Could be tactical, but I think there'll be a slight knock. I think they would have saved Sima maybe with 20-25 to go to bring him on.
I don't know, but there's a hold-up in play here. I don't know what the hold-up was for.
It's a smoke, apart from anything else that's come from the Rangers end this time, and it's drifting across the field of play, and I think the VAR might have lost a couple of cameras as well because of the smoke, so we just need to hold on here. An early hiatus in the second period. Now Nick Walsh is content for them to resume as the throw-in's taken on the right-hand side into Sima. Can't bring it under control, away by McGregor, only as far as Raskan, who sets his sights, comes off the head of Hatate. Now Johnston underneath that, and he just rather flicks it behind, but there's an offside flag going up against Silva, who was challenging Johnston, and so there's no corner to Rangers. It will instead be a Celtic free kick. Couple of minutes played in this second half. I just wonder, that record that I just cited a minute ago, Pack, in terms of Rangers' lack of victories against Celtic, is that, I mean, at what stage does that become a psychological issue for the players who are out there?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, I can tell you. You're into the game now, you're focused, you don't even think about those things. It wouldn't even cross my mind at this moment in time, and that you just want to get on and keep doing what you were doing well in the first half.
Here's Johnston. It's under pressure from Raskan, but he's being fouled by the Belgian, and Nick Walsh says free kick Celtic, deep in their own territory, right hand side. Alistair Johnston made his debut against Rangers a year last January, and he's been another astute signing for Celtic, virtually ever present at right back when fit, to the detriment of Anthony Ralston, it has to be said, who has got his place in the Scotland Euros provisional squad at least. Celtic building from the back just at the moment, still inside their own half as Carter Vickers gets it back.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the position now. Greg Taylor again here. There's Liam Scales. He's got the ball. Now he hesitates on the ball. Now he's under pressure. He has a decent enough pass, but he was under pressure. If Greg Taylor goes wide, Maeda can come in that sort of channel into that space.
Well, Celtic have been allowed to play on, and Diamonde, who's still prone on the ground, having hurt himself in the challenge on Hatate, and now he's picked himself back up, and Rangers have one possession back, but that would have been perhaps somewhat controversial, because it did look like he'd hurt himself. But anyway, Celtic have it back in the midfield. Almost 4 minutes played in the second half. 0-0 it remains. Celtic on the ball, right hand side through Forrest, away from Silva, into the feet of O'Reilly, who hasn't been as influential as I'm sure the Celtic fans would have liked thus far, but certainly I think it would be unwise to write him off, given the season he's had and his ability he has. As Tavernier has it for Rangers, just steps away from Maida, plays it out to the right hand side. Sterling was surely blocked off there by Taylor. It'll be a free kick to Rangers, halfway line. 49 on the clock. And the free kick's taken by Tavernier up towards Silva. Johnston though gets his head to it. Seema trying to make something of it. Forrest back there to win it for Celtic. Carter Vickers has it, edge of his own box, gets it back from Johnston once more. To the feet of Callum McGregor, who's got plenty of space, and he plays the pass forward to Hattati, out to the left hand side for Maida. Good challenge on this occasion by Tavernier, and he played it off Maida, and he gets the throw in his way, midway inside his own half. James Tavernier, who has given his teammates a difficult throw in there, and Rangers end up conceding the free kick. Callum McGregor asking why that's not a yellow card for Todd Cantwell, but Nick Walsh contents himself with the free kick, but Celtic get it moving quickly. Here's Hattati, bundled off the ball in the end by Diamondi. It was good backtracking. Now it's Raskin, midway inside his own half, looking for options ahead, not too many of them, so he goes square to Sterling, right hand side, just inside his own half, back with Raskin on the halfway line. Into Diamondi it goes. Kyogo coming to try and pinch it off him, plays it past to Yilmaz. He's too ponderous though, and Celtic do have it back, and it's Forrest out to Kyogo, right hand side, and now O'Reilly right for Celtic, into Forrest with his back to goal. He could have turned there, the Celtic fans urging him to do so, but he gets it back 25 yards from goal, into the feet of Maida, who couldn't hold on to it. Rangers win it back, neither side able to really create, but here's Silva chasing a ball through the left channel, and inside Liam Scales to knock it out of play. It was an important challenge. Again, reading the game well. He's really added to his game in the last 10 months or so, Liam Scales. As Rangers pick up left channel, it's Cantwell trying to squirm through a couple of challenges. Breaks for Johnston though, just inside his own penalty area. O'Reilly back to Johnston, more or less from his own goal line. Tries to play it off Cantwell, but it's straight out of play. Rangers throw in. Yilmaz takes it back to Raskin. 6.5 on the clock in this second period. Still 0-0.
Yeah, and it hasn't flowed again for Celtic at the start of the second half. Again, some silly mistakes, I think, from their passing. It's not as clinical as we've seen.
Here's Balogun, just inside his own half, turns back the way and plays it infield, square to Davies. Davies for Diamondi, just drops the shoulder, tries to get away from McGregor. He's got a lovely balance, but he tries a pass over the top for Silva, which he doesn't execute properly. But well, all the guys have rightfully been praising him for his play, not only this afternoon but generally since he's signed. He looks a good signing for Rangers for the future at least. Will he prove to be one of the main men?
The first bit was good there, wasn't it? Because McGregor's trying to get a nip at him in a dangerous area, drops his shoulder, just a pass that went astray.
Well, again, McGregor goes down under the challenge of Cantwell, and again, I think he's looking at the referees to say, well, what does he need to do to go into the book alongside me? And it's just a talking to from Nick Walsh. I mean, let's bring in Bobby if we can on that. I mean, he's had a couple like that, Bobby. Is Nick Walsh right to
I think he's right to try and let that breathe there. I think with McGregor caution, it was a promising attack. There's no clear space for the Celtic attacker to move into, so I think that's correct. Good refereeing.
They'll not get many more, though. One more.
Yeah, you'd imagine it would be persistent fouling would be totting up, and maybe the next one from Todd Cantwell as Seema and Johnston tangle. And there's a yellow card there for Abdallah Seema. He did seem to kind of not kick out as such, but he was trying to maybe free his boot from Johnston, and maybe he was a bit over strenuous in doing that. Billy, what was your take on that?
I think
one?
Johnston's trapped him and he's not letting his boot come out, and he's trying to free himself, and Nick was pretty, that's the first one I think he could have just left, had a word with the two of them. But like Bobby, I think Nick Walsh has been excellent today. I think that one he could have just let go, because Seaman's trying to get his boot out between Johnston's legs. Johnston's not letting him get his boot out. He's not kicked out. He's trying to pull it out at the end, and the yellow card was straight there.
Yeah, I agree with that, to be honest. I see the replay of it here now. He's got in the tackle. His foot is caught in between, yeah, and he's trying to get it out now. nothing in that.
Well, Seema into the boot alongside Callum McGregor as Rangers come forward now down the right hand side. 54 and it's Tavernier, still 0-0. Rangers trying to create something here on the right. It's good play from Sterling to find Diamond. The angle of the box comes off O'Reilly, and Sterling will just see that out. It's going to be a throw in down near the corner flag on the right hand side for Rangers. And the longer this goes at 0-0, the more crucial the opening goal, should it come, will prove to be, you'd imagine, as Tavernier prepares to take this throw in about 15 yards away from the corner flag. Plays it into Diamondi, gets it back, tries to step away from Maida. Maida walks back and knocks it out of play once more. Into Cantwell, that throw-in goes. McGregor, though, in the way of Cantwell's attempted flick, and now Hatate tries to play it forward for Forrest. Yilmaz read it. Yilmaz now advancing. Oh, he doesn't catch the shot at all well, and it's an easy take for Joe Hart. Might almost have run into the path of Todd Cantwell, such was the sclaffed nature of the effort from Yilmaz. You can hit them from that kind of distance, but on that occasion he didn't get hold of it. 0-0.
No, it was just, you were wondering whether a Rangers player was going to run across the path of the ball and maybe get a touch. That was the only thing, but it was easy for Joe Hart and that. But just here's a chance for Celtic.
Yes, it is. James Forrest picks up. He's away from Yilmaz. He's inside the box onto the left foot. Forrest is blocked and eventually rolls through to Jack Butler. And it's good defending again in the end from Rangers, getting bodies in the way, but James Forrest.
Yeah, it's the first time really that Forrest has really threatened by getting an attack in the fullback, getting inside him and getting beyond him. But it was a good block from Davis, I think, coming across eventually, and that. But when it was opening up for him on his left foot,
the chances both teams, not that there have been many, have been rushed, haven't they? Seen one screwed into the ground for Dessers. We saw Yilmaz there. We saw James Forrest when he got in that position. Once he's passed Ben Davis, although it was a good block, can he rush in the shot? Just need a bit more quality and composure in that final bit.
Sterling penalised over on the far side. It'll be a Celtic free kick, more or less, in the halfway line, left hand side. And temperature's just rising ever so slightly as a couple of challenges are a bit more hotly contested. Some decisions likewise. No doubting the crucial nature of the game we are witnessing out there. Celtic looking to add the Scottish Cup to the league. Rangers likewise with the League Cup. Kyogo well challenged by Balogun, who then finds Cantwell in a decent position. Rangers will need to get bodies forward in support. Seema goes down off the ball. Still it's Cantwell. Carter Vickers makes the challenge, comes off the Celtic defender and behind for a corner. Seema's down, clutching his face. I'm not sure there was all that much in it, but it will be a Rangers corner.
I think this will be checked, actually.
Scales has made it look clumsy, but he knew what he was doing.
He knew he was doing it. He ran across him and almost blocked him, but kind of almost like a professional foul.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what VAR can do with that, because it's not denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. It's not serious foul play. It's not violent conduct, so it's outside of the box. They can look at it if they like, but ultimately there's nothing really they can award. Am I right, Bobby?
The referee's never seen that, only if that is, as you say, violent conduct and an obvious goal opportunity, but no, nothing. I think it's good. Let the players decide the game, not the referees.
Rangers corner though, left hand side to be taken by Tavernier. 58 on the clock, still 0-0. Tavernier lining up another in swinger from this left hand side. A very crowded 6-yard box. Can Rangers strike the on-line goal here? It's gone in! It's Seema who's celebrating. An absolutely crammed 6-yard box. Impossible to tell who got the final touches. Seema stooped to knock it home, I think, with his knee. One way or the other, it has gone over the goal line, and Rangers are in front in the Scottish Cup final. It is Celtic 0, Rangers 1.
Yeah, listen, we're talking about the corners into the box. Celtic couldn't deal with it. Joe Hart is complaining that he's being blocked or pushed away from the flight of the ball, but Rangers aren't complaining. They go 1-0 up. I'd like to see it, and I will see it again on the replay just to confirm whether it was a foul on Joe Hart, but I don't think it's going to be.
Well, Joe Hart's wanting to foul, but the delivery is wicked, and it's right into an area where I think it's at Scales. I don't know, but he's missed the header, and it's come off Seaman's knee. Whoever's marked as Johnson, I think, at that back post
area. It's a push, actually. It's a push in Joe Hart's back from
Raskin. Is it enough of a push for it to be disallowed?
Well, it pushed the goalkeeper completely off the line of the ball. That is what I've seen on
he's got to do better. The goalie's got to do better, Pat.
Yeah, I know that, but when you're up in the air and you're trying to attack the ball and somebody pushes you in the back, you're always going to have...
I get it, but there's a nudge in the knees, and he's got to do better. He's missed the flight of the ball. See, if you're getting that nudge and he's out the way, you've got to get something on it, even if
he's going to come and look at it.
Yeah.
Nick Walsh is going to come over on the advice of John Beaton to have a look.
Yeah, it's the two hands on his back, almost as he's pushed him. I didn't know. I thought he was blocked off. Just see if nobody puts his hands on his back and pushes him, then you're blocked off, and you've got to just be stronger. But when you're almost moving towards the flight of the ball, now you're right. Maybe he could have been stronger, but I think there's a foul in this.
Let's get Bobby Madden's view on this, shall we?
So I think when you see evidence here, there's a bent arm that goes to a straight arm. It's a push, and you can argue all day that the keeper should be strong, but there's evidence here to show a push. The high behind camera, and I think correctly disallowed.
Nick Walsh signals for the push, and the goal from Abdallah Sima is chopped off, and we are back to 0-0. A yellow card for Joe Hart for his protest over all of that. But he will be mightily relieved that that is all the punishment he gets, because the goal is chopped off, and we are back to goalless as Celtic are about to change Adamida for Kyogo, who has been quiet, and Adamida, who has proved an excellent signing, you'd have to say. And Celtic breathe again. Let's hear from Willie Miller. Willie, I mean, what's your take? Do you think it's the right decision ultimately?
Well, I think it's rather stupid to push the goalkeeper in the first place. I thought that Hart was in a poor position to deal with it anyway. You know, if you'd let him go, I doubt if he's getting that one. Packy, you might come in.
I agree. I agree.
But it's a definite push, and when you see it again, the referee's no option.
It's a big call. And John Beaton, who's in the VAR, was the man who advised Nick Walsh to come and get another look at it, and he has ultimately decided that there was enough of a push there to disallow that goal from Abdallah Sima. And here comes Celtic now, looking to take advantage of that reprieve as Balogun though wins the header as Forrest sends it into the box. Good challenge though from Sterling. Oh no, it's not. It's a free kick to Celtic and a yellow card for Sterling. Well, clearly Nick Walsh decided he was overly forceful there with the challenge on Greg Taylor, and it will be a free kick. So nothing going in Rangers' favour in terms of the refereeing decisions just at the moment. That's the feeling certainly among the fans round about us.
Yeah, it was a sliding tackle again. It's just interesting to see whether he's made contact with the ball. We'll probably see a replay coming up here, yeah, the reaction from the Rangers fans is that things are going against him a little bit at this moment in time.
Yeah, they've got to keep calm, even though I feel that's harsh as well. He's been excellent, as I said, Nick Walsh, no problem, but you can feel the fans getting nervous because they know that opening goal is going to be so crucial now, so everyone is getting to that vital feeling, and that's exactly why the crowd are raising the noise.
Yeah, let's get Bobby's view on that challenge, which we just did a replay of.
It's not a foul for me, to be honest. I think he does travel in with a degree of force, but it plays the ball. And football, we need to remember, is a contact sport, and we're going down a dangerous road when we're awarding free kicks for that offence.
No, I agree with that. I haven't watched it again. Sliding tackle. He's made good contact with the ball, and I didn't think it was a foul.
Celtic nonetheless have a free kick about 35 yards from goal over to the left-hand side. Still 0-0 then, but certainly the second half has been a good deal more interesting, particularly in the last few minutes than the first half was, as Celtic look to try and take advantage now of this set-piece situation. O'Reilly and Hatate are over it from the left-hand side. It's going to be left by Hatate. In fact, Nick Walsh is just telling a couple of players in there to cut out whatever they're up to as O'Reilly does send it in. It's a good ball. Balogun, I think, got something on it, and the flag is up for an offside, in fact, against Adam Ida, it looks like, and it will be a Rangers free kick from inside their own penalty area. 64 played here, and it's still Celtic 0, Rangers 0. Another offside, this time against Sima at the other end. Now, he thought he had got the all-important opening goal, his 17th of the season it would have been, having come off the bench at half-time. Philippe Clement still down there having a word with Stephen McLean, the fourth official, about the various decisions in the last few minutes, as Maida just fails to keep the ball in play over on the far side. Difficult now for Rangers, Billy, having had that euphoria taken away from them. How do they have to respond, don't they? Have to kind of G themselves up once more.
Not really respond, just keep it the same. Don't let it lose your focus, don't change anything. The game's going the way they were wanted it to. They got the goal a little bit unfortunate, a little easy on the goalkeeper, as we said, but I still think he's got to be strong because he missed the flight of the ball, and then they get that free kick again, so it's just calmness they need to keep in the game.
Here's Sima out to the right to Sterling, up towards the Celtic penalty area, and it comes looking for Cantwell. Hart takes that one though to the edge of his 6-yard area, and then looks to unleash Maida on the left hand side. Balogun though is across there, slight miss kick from him. He'll have to go and win this second ball with the head, which he does, and it's out of play for a Celtic throw in. Left hand side of it.
Nothing wrong with a big goal kicker out of your hands. Get the ball direct.
You can talk all the tactics you want, Patter, whether it positions the players. Nothing wrong with a punt to catch teams early.
Off Celtic player there, and it'll be Rangers throwing deep in their own territory to be taken by James Tavernier. 25 minutes of the 90 remaining. There's every chance we could see extra time here at Hampden, as we did in the semi between Celtic and Aberdeen. What a game that was, and indeed penalties. You wouldn't dismiss that. Yilmaz, a poor distribution, gives it straight to Callum McGregor in the middle of the park. Cantwell trying to get back at him, holds him up for now. Here's Taylor just inside the Rangers half, plays that over the top of Tavernier, looking for Maida. It'll just skip off the surface and behind. They haven't really used Maida. They've tried on a few occasions to release him because they know it's a real potent area for them, but they haven't quite managed to find the right passes for Maida this afternoon.
No, I think his movement also has got to be better off the ball. You know, that was better, and he was running behind, but just create a movement. If you can't go behind, then movement to come forward and get a ball to your feet and then open up in a 1v1 situation.
His movement was good there. He had done Tavernier, showed short to go long. The right back got to mix it, go long, and then show short, get on it and get at him.
Carter Vickers has it just outside his own penalty area, slides it forward for Ida. Challenged well though by Diamondi. Cantwell picks up now instead. He's got Sima running ahead of him, but he's dispossessed. A good challenge by Ida, who was there backtracking, and now Celtic can try and counter. It's O'Reilly out to Forrest, right hand side up against Yilmaz, pokes the ball inside, not a good pass, and then he takes Nico Raskin out of play. Yellow card for James Forrest. Pretty comfortable, easy decision that one for Nick Walsh. Is a poor bit of play from Forrest.
Yeah, it was a bad pass initially. You know, I don't know what he was trying to do, and then when he gave it away, he followed the ball and slid in and caught Raskin. I don't think there was anything really too.
A more straightforward yellow though.
Yeah, it was. It was a yellow enough, but it wasn't over the top, or it wasn't high or anything.
Going back to Cantwell, he's got to pop the ball quicker. He's been speaking to Willie off cans where he just gets caught in the ball. He wants to run, he wants to showboat, he wants to roll his foot over it. Again, for me, he's not showed up in a big game as yet, but he can pop it earlier and release people so much quicker.
Davies takes a free kick out to Sterling, who wins it. Sima on the chase on the right hand side of the penalty area. Scales is with him, tries to get it back in field to Sterling. He's managed to do so. How can he find a teammate? Scales gets back to knock it behind for a Rangers corner. Quarter of the game to go, of the 90 at least, and Rangers have a corner, but still finally poised at 0-0.
Yeah, that was effective from Rangers, that diagonal ball for Sterling up against Greg Taylor, and then of course Sima's made a bit of a difference as he's come on. Powerful, running down channels, getting on the ball.
Out goes Diamondi to take the corner kick from the right hand side, left footed. Rangers got a bit of joy obviously from the last one, albeit the goal was chopped off. What can they do here from the right hand side this time? It's Diamondi, near post ball. It's flicked on by a Celtic head, comes all the way out to this near side. Forrest will get there first. He's tracked by Yilmaz, who cuts out the ball down the line from Forrest. It'll be a Celtic throw-in. We played 69 minutes almost here at Hampden, and it's still Celtic 0, Rangers 0.
Anybody's game, isn't it? Anybody's game, and how crucial is this goal going to be?
Ball's played forwards, looking for Adamida. There's an offside flag. There was a yellow card shown to Adamida. I'm not sure I meant. But he was booked a few moments ago. So just about 20 minutes to go here at the National Stadium. But looking more and more like we might get another 30 minutes. As Taylor just nods that ball back to Joe Hart under significant pressure from Dujon Sterling, who's had another pretty decent game out on that right flank. He's been used in so many different positions this season by Philippe Clement. He's rarely let Rangers down, you would have to say.
He must be a dream to work with just here. You go and play right back, centre mid, centre half, right wing, no problem, Gaffer will do it. And he does it really well. His movement there was great, and I'll tell you what, Greg Taylor did ever so well to get a head on that and get it back to his goalkeeper, because we know Sterling has been physically stronger than him in this match.
I think it's going to be a Celtic change. We'll get news of that from Kevin Edson, our pitchside reporter, just in a moment. But Rangers have picked up on the halfway line. Here's Seema, gets it from Sterling. Now out to the right hand side for Cantwell. Cantwell just slides it forward, looking for Seema. Carter Vickers just does enough, just shows him out of play, essentially. Chance to drop down to Kerridine then. Let's hear about the Celtic change, Kerridine.
Nicholas Kuhn coming on for Celtic. Also, James Forrest had a brilliant last couple of months, hasn't he? I wonder if that's his last involvement in the game, as indeed he comes to the touchline. Nicholas Kuhn coming on for Celtic for the last, 20 minutes at least. That's assuming it's settled in 90. There's been a bit of activity on the Rangers bench as well, with Scott Wright and Ross McCausland chatting away to Philippe Clement, the manager. So I think Rangers might be making a couple of changes of their own in the next few minutes or so.
Yeah, I don't know what the conditions are like down on the pitch. The sun's been out most of the game, and it might be quite draining actually for the players. So you will see subs coming on now. The question is which group of subs will make an impact.
Well, Abdallah Seema thought he'd made the most telling impact of all a few minutes ago when he kneed the ball home. It wasn't the prettiest of goals, but ultimately he had that taken away from him because of the push by Raskin on the back of Joe Hart as he tried to deal with the corner. And that's why we're still 71 minutes in at 0-0. Here's Celtic on the halfway line. Carter Vickers trying to influence things as he strides forward and out to the right hand side. The first touch for Kuhn up against Yilmaz. Silva back there trying to help out. Kuhn just plays it back to his captain McGregor, and now it's Taylor midway inside the Rangers half, clips it over the head of Tavernier. Maida's there, but his first time ball in's dealt with by Balogun. Out it goes as far as Taylor, who just turns it back in field to McGregor, into the feet of Hattati, shrugged off by Raskin, who pokes it out to Cantwell on the right hand side, tries to bring the ball forward, and he's taken down by Greg Taylor, and then Taylor has a nip at him as well, as a word in his ear, which seemed rather unnecessary, and earns the Celtic fullback a yellow card.
Stupid thing to do in a cup final. Now you're under a bit of pressure. You got into the last, 20-25 minutes, and it could be extra time, and it just takes another silly tackle or something, and you're off the pitch. So don't get yourself booked for unnecessary things.
Kerry, news of Rangers changes?
Yeah, Scott Wright coming on as expected. Rabbi Matondo as well, so a double change for Rangers. I saw Fabio Silva looking over a little bit nervously. Looks like the number 7 is coming off for Rangers at the moment. Just waiting to see who else is going to come off, but definitely coming on, Rabbi Matondo and Scott Wright.
Thanks, Kerry. Yeah, quite surprised that McCausland isn't getting the shout, given played well at Tynecastle. Certainly Fabio Silva is trotting off to be replaced by Rabbi Matondo, who's another Rangers player who's barely seen any action. He's not been in the squad in the last 5, having come off in the semi-final against Hearts, but clearly scored that fabulous goal of the season against Celtic to earn the point at Ibrox. And it's Todd Cantwell who's going to be replaced by Scott Wright, not before he's had another word with Greg Taylor, and he's going to be shown a yellow card as he departs. The assistant on the far side having to intervene between himself and Taylor, and Todd Cantwell troops off with the scoreline still Celtic 0, Rangers 0.
Yeah, picks up a yellow on his way. Again, he's not got a grip in the game in big games. Listen, I've said enough about him. He says plenty himself. I don't think he's had a particularly good day, Todd Cantwell. He's been a bit more disciplined. Nothing's come of McGregor. I think Silva has worked away hard. Nothing really too much going forward, but I think his discipline has been a whole lot better today than it was in the last Old Firm game.
The game will resume with a Rangers throwing over on the far side. We've got 15 minutes left here, just a little bit more, obviously plus injury time. There could be a whole lot more than that unless we can find a goal in that period. The Rangers have it midway inside their own half, turned back by Davis to Jack Butland, who hasn't had a save of note to make, but he will be wary of relaxing at this stage. Celtic still so capable should they choose to turn it on. Here's Matondo up against Johnston, into the penalty area he goes, left hand side, trying to dance between Johnston and Kuhn, but the Celtic duo combine to win possession back. Kuhn under pressure, goes back to Johnston, who can only force it out of play. Good pressure from Rangers. Yilmaz quickly takes a throw into Scott Wright, who gets turned inside the box. Can he pick out a teammate? Comes back off Scott Wright. Disappointing for the Rangers forwards, and it's behind for a Celtic goal kick. 75 minutes played. It is Celtic nil, Rangers nil.
Great position, wasn't it? A great opportunity for Scott Wright to make an impact right at the start. Got himself inside the box and just couldn't cut that ball back. It was blocked initially and it came off him for Celtic to get possession. But yeah, this game is getting really nervous now. I see Billy on my left hand side. It's getting a little bit tense.
Calm.
Celtic have it just inside their own half. Scales plays it short to Taylor. Now for Carter Vickers. Out it goes to Nicholas Kuhn. Up against Matondo. Plays it forward down that Celtic right hand side. Good challenge by Yilmaz on Johnston. Out for a Celtic throw in midway inside the Rangers half. Celtic right. Johnston gets it back from O'Reilly. O'Reilly now back the way to Carter Vickers. Joe Hart looks to come and join in midway inside his own half, and that's why he gets the ball and plays it to Scales. Scales back to Hart. He'd have been mightily relieved, no doubt, as adamant as he was pushed just to get the confirmation from the VAR, and Nick Walsh ultimately. Here's Carter Vickers sliding it forward. It almost found O'Reilly. Raskin tried to cut it out, but he failed to do so, and O'Reilly almost anticipated it being cut out and might have benefited had he been on his toes. Poor clearance from Butland, but Matondo's made the best of it. He's powering forward now. Good pace from Matondo. McGregor trying to stick with him, plays it to Sterling inside the penalty area, tries to play it across goal. Half blocked by Taylor as Scales kept it in, knows the answer. Rangers corner, right hand side. Celtic change coming, Carradine.
Yeah, Paolo Bernardo coming on in midfield. I wonder if it might be for Rayo Hatate. No official confirmation on that yet, but certainly Paolo Bernardo coming on to bolster the Celtic midfield for the last 15 minutes of normal time.
Not sure that's going to happen before this corner, is it? It's quite unusual for a defending team to make the change. Looks like the corner will be allowed to proceed before that substitution is made, as Diamondi lines it up from the right hand side, left footed. What can he provide this time? Another near post ball, and it's all the way through again. Some of these deliveries have been not half bad, but Rangers just haven't been able to find the finishing touch.
Yeah, it was just overhit down, I think, and Celtic actually did a good job blocking players, making sure they weren't going to get the end of it. It was dipping down at the back post, but I fear for these corners. It's a weapon for Celtic and or for Rangers, sorry, and they're whipped in there.
Carter Vickers did brilliantly, because Seamus trying on it, he's the one that pinpointed, and he just holds him because the flight of the ball was perfect. It took Joe Hart out right out the game again.
Cardine's called that change correctly, as Hatate is the man replaced by Paolo Bernardo, who scored the opening goal in one of Celtic's 2-1 wins at Celtic Park. That one was back in December. A huge win in the context of the title race at the time. 12 minutes left of the 90. Celtic nil, Rangers nil. Who will blink first as Taylor picks up on the left hand side? Well challenged though by Tavernier, and Sterling takes up the mantle and comes forward down the right hand side for Rangers. Back goes McGregor, trying to just close him down. Still Sterling, great engine he's got. Takes a nick off McGregor, though he does just enough. Poor clearance though Celtic haven't got it cleared. Raskan onto it first. A great ball across goal, and Carter Vickers taking no chances, just knocks it behind, but it could have ended up anywhere as Sima tried to get on the end of the Raskan ball. Good energy again from Sterling and Raskan.
Sterling
Rangers will have the corner.
Sterling is busted. I mean, some run. Tavernier does well defensively because Sterling switched off with Greg Taylor. Tavernier took him, won the tackle. Sterling opened the legs up, it fell to Raskan. What a ball that is! That is begging. That is a dream ball right across the face of goal for a striker. And Sima knew it, and he head in the hands, and then Raskan, he just falls to the deck to say, I can't do any more there. I'm putting it on a plate to stick it in the net.
Yeah, and Liam Scales, you know, he tries to control a nice little pass out to Greg Taylor. Just put your foot through it at that point in the game and get it up the pitch, and you can defend then the second ball higher up the pitch. You know, 10 minutes, what is that?
I think Ross McCausland has been given a shout with Sterling looking like his race might have been run Carradine, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely right. Also, Ross McCausland just taking a wee bit longer to get it stripped than his manager would have liked. They're just waiting to have the confirmation of who's going to come off, but certainly Ross McCausland on for Rangers to inject a bit of pace in these last 10-11 minutes or so.
Yeah, well, I think you'd have to say that Rangers are looking the more likely side to get the goal at the moment, but that will count for nothing if they can't actually get it, because they've had their noses blooded on sufficient amount of occasions by Celtic to take anything for granted. Sterling is making way, and there's been quite a shift on that right wing, and Ross McCausland, a more natural winger certainly than Sterling, will come on for the final 10 minutes and potentially for extra time as well. Let's see what happens from this corner, from the same position as which Rangers did have the ball in the back of the net, as Tavernier prepares to take. Of course, that one was chopped off. Again, it's a very, very jam-packed 6-yard box.
And there's 12 players inside the 6-yard box, 13 counting the goalkeeper.
Tavernier, what can he provide on this occasion as he swings it in from the left? It's a near post ball, is well met by Ida to knock it behind again. Important header as Tavernier struck another dangerous ball in.
Yeah, just missing first man McGregor. If you do that, you know Joe Hart has not handled it well all game. Sima is now off, so they're just crowding him and putting him under pressure because he's not handled any crosses so far, especially corner kicks whipped in on him.
Tavernier will try again with just 8.5 minutes left to play of the 90. Here he is, Rangers captain. Another near post ball again. Ida's there. I'm not sure. Had that maybe gone out already? No, the officials have given another corner. I thought maybe that had already crossed the line before Ida got his head to it at the near post, but another corner, third time in a row here for Tavernier. Rangers looking for the breakthrough in this Scottish Cup final. Tavernier this time goes deep. Big punch from Hart and then helped on by Bernardo. Celtic have survived, but they are on the back foot right now, Packy.
Yeah, that was better from Joe Hart, though. He used his strength, his body strength, and cleared the area to get 2 fists on that ball. Obviously 3 opportunities for Tavernier to test him.
It's amazing with goalkeepers, he knows he's got to be stronger now. The way he went for the goal, I know he got the shove, but it was just one arm up, and you know, he was loose, but there he's like strong. Anybody bumps me, I'm going to bounce off me and make sure he gets the 2 hands on it. But
Carter Vickers plays it away, but Raskan's won it back for Rangers in a dangerous area. Now it's Matondo left hand side. Sliding challenge from Johnston, taking no prisoners there. Rangers take the throw in quickly. Yilmaz with a sliced ball into the box. Sima rises. There's a good take though from Joe Hart. His near post is a difficult one to get any real power on for Sima. He did well to get it on target. Fabulous ball in from Yilmaz. The technique was out of this world, but Joe Hart was equal to the effort from Sima, and it remains Celtic 0, Rangers 0.
Difficult one, went at the head, back across. You're stretching. You've got to really be get almost upward power, and it was difficult for him to get any real strength on that header.
It's Diamondi driving Rangers forward now down the right hand side. It's McCausland picking up into the middle, looking for a right. It's Carter Vickers with the intervention, but Celtic just scrambling it clear just at the moment. Anywhere will do. It's Rangers who are doing all the attacking, and they will really feel they have to capitalise on this, otherwise they'll be open to the sucker punch from Celtic, who are looking for the League Cup double. Raskin, very ambitious from 30 yards, comes back to him though, the edge of the box. Can he get the shot away? Now he's into the box. Scales sticks in a foot and manages to get it clear, and then Johnston tries to get beyond Yilmaz. Yilmaz just dragging Johnson to the ground. Yellow card for the Turk. Looked like Yilmaz could have won that without hauling Johnson to the ground, but just not strong enough, and has to resort to foul tactics, and Celtic will get a breather at the back.
Yeah, I think anybody would take a foul there, wouldn't they? Yeah. Take a yellow card, should I say.
But Al's right, isn't he? Yilmaz is favourite, but he's too busy worried about Johnson's pace, instead of just running for the ball, getting it and starting another attack. No, unless he's feeling a bit tired and jaded. He's not had a lot of football, not had a lot of minutes, and the old legs gave up on him there.
Yeah, he was an injury doubt ahead of this game, and with Borna Barisic not even on the bench, options open to Philippe Clement, especially if this goes to extra time, are few and far between. He has made a number of changes already. Celtic have it at the back. It's Johnston into McGregor. Gets it back from Bernardo. Is this a moment that Celtic provide that counter-attack? It's Bernardo out to the right-hand side for Kuhn. Kuhn right in the box, and it goes, but only onto the chest there of Sima, and hacked away up towards the halfway line. Scales picks up as Carter Vickers held off Scott Wright. 5 minutes of the 90 remaining, still 0-0. Greg Taylor claiming that was his ball, and Nick Walsh agrees. The assistant on the far side didn't really know and kept his flag down. Throw in Celtic then, midway inside the Rangers half. They've dealt with a fairly concerted period of Rangers pressure and survived unscathed. Can they provide their own moment now, Celtic, and clinch that double, the 13th in their history, as well as the 8 trebles, having captured a 54th league title just in the last few days. Can't get the ball into the Rangers box though, and it's Diamondi gets it forward to Scott Wright. He dragged to the ground. Well, Rangers can still go on with Raskin. They've got 3-on-3. What can Rangers do here? It's Raskin for Sima. Sima into the box, splashed the shot, and that comes to nothing. And Rangers with a 3-on-3, Billy, have got to do better in that position.
It's been the story of the game with final efforts and final shots. Celtic on the break now, but when he's rolled in, Sima, you think, go on, drop the shoulder, put the boot through it, and he just rushes his shot as well, and he should be fresher coming on as a sub, but it's a really good chance for Rangers.
It's going to be a Rangers throw-in, which is taken by Davies back to Butland. Just under 4 minutes left of the 90. Celtic 0, Rangers 0. An engrossing second half, certainly, after a relatively low-key first half. Rangers with a goal chopped off after a VAR intervention, and certainly probably had the better of the second period after a relatively level first half. But still no goals to show for it. Matondo back with Raskin, who's been decent. Raskin with a poor ball though forward as Maida slips on and allows Diamondi in, but Maida's almost emerged with possession there, but Tavernier then steps away from him and powers Rangers forward. Scales with a good challenge. Tavernier showed too much of it to him, but Diamondi now for Scott Wright, scored in the Scottish Cup final win over Hearts, having come on as a sub, looking to do similar, but it's a Celtic goal kick. Wright felt it come off Johnston, but Nick Walsh thought otherwise. Celtic goal kick, 0-0 with 3 to play.
Yeah, listen, the nerves are tangling, I suppose, for many people at this point in time in the game. Just, you know, a goal now just settles it, but and there could be another chance that you can see a bad pass from Celtic there again, and
forced back the way yet. Scales eventually gets up towards the halfway line. Ida beaten in the jump there by Balogun. He's had no real change out of the Rangers backline since coming on. McCausland gets it to Diamondi, who's gone to ground, but no foul, and here's O'Reilly now out to the right hand side. Good challenge. Yilmaz though preventing it getting to Kuhn, and now it's Matondo looking to try and test the pace here of Johnston perhaps. Will he go on the outside? Matondo, good challenge. Johnston brilliantly timed from the Canadian international. He got that absolutely spot on, where Matondo could have just knocked it by him and tested his pace, but Alistair Johnston stood up to the task and wins it back for Celtic. 2 to play, it's still 0-0.
He never really made his mind up, Pat, to get at him, did he? He just kind of dragged it, and then Johnson timed it brilliantly. You get the feeling it's just they'll take the final whistle now. Nobody wants to lose it by making a mistake. There are a lot of tired legs out there.
Carter Vickers out to Maida. Maida knocks it beyond Tavernier, and out comes Butland to smother at his feet. Brilliant goalkeeping, really aware goalkeeping, because Maida had got the wrong side of Tavernier. We haven't seen too much of him in the game, but just at that moment it looked like it might have opened up for him. Still 0-0.
Yeah, a little bit of pace and touch, and he was in. And Jack Butland, you're right, absolutely brilliant reading the game.
Maida touches it back for Bernardo in the centre circle, away from Raskan. Bernardo forward for Celtic, up to the edge of the penalty area, goes for goal, takes a deflection, Butland, it's in! Aramida has scored for Celtic in the 89th minute, and surely now Celtic are going to take home the double. Butland could only parry it back out. It might have taken a deflection, Butland couldn't keep a hold of it, and Aramida was the man on the spot to knock it home. It is Celtic 1, Rangers 0.
It must have taken a deflection because Jack Butland was away to the right, and all he had to do, and it may have moved in the air too, but I haven't seen the replay yet, but properly. But certainly you would expect that was kind of almost straight down the middle of the goal, and he could have dealt with it. But he was away to one side, he had lost his balance, which can happen if that ball's moved or taken deflection. Just seeing the replay now, picked up here, a strike from about 25 yards out. Oh, I'm not sure if it's taken a deflection. We need to see it right here. We'll see it better now from behind Paulo Bernard. Yeah, he's just gone too early. I think he's gone too early, and
he cuts across the ball, Bernardo, doesn't he? And I think Butland's thinking he's going to hit it to that corner. He's gone, it might have taken a slight nick, but not enough to make that blunder by Butland. And there, as he does, he's a half yard onside, and he buries it right against the running play, you have to say.
Well, Aramida steps up to capitalise on a very rare error from Jack Butland. And as we head into 8 minutes of added on time, Rangers, having had the better of the second half, find themselves behind to that sucker punch I mentioned, as Nicholas Kuhn goes into the book for a foul on Rudvan Yilmaz. But Celtic are now within touching distance of a league and cup double, unless Rangers can come up with something in the next 7.5 minutes of injury time to take it into extra time. Forward to come through Scott right now. McCausland up against Taylor. Can he find something special here? Scales in the way. Clear as far as Tavernier on the right hand side. He'll go back in field. It's not a great ball for Raskan. Ida's there to win it, and now it's Maida. Maida looking to run it down that left channel. Raskan still with him, and Raskan penalised, and will go into the referee's book here for hauling Maida to the ground. And it's all going right for Celtic right now.
Yeah, I think it was a handball actually. He fell and maybe handled the ball also, and that he was down. He's put some effort in, Raskan, though, because it's his first game for such a long time.
I thought they'd have made that sub, I've got to be honest with you. Even with the goal when Bernardo turned him and he drives forward, Raskan's on the deck, his legs have gone, and then you can see there he's done again.
I think John Lundstrom just got the shout from Philippe Clement. Could be too little too late though. Celtic leading by a goal to 0, looking to clinch their first Scottish Cup final victory over Rangers since the man to my left, Pat Bonner, was in goals for another 1-0 victory. Joe Miller, the scorer on that day back in 1989. Packy, I'm sure you remember it well. It's been a long wait for another Scottish Cup final victory, and they're going to have to wait another 6 minutes or so to confirm it, but they are heading in that direction, and they've got a corner over on the left hand side. Man City have got a goal back against Man United in the 6 minute of injury time, so it's possible, of course. 2-1 though they trail against United. 1-0 Celtic lead here against their eternal rivals Rangers, and they're in no hurry to take this corner kick as Raskan goes off to be replaced by John Lundstrom. In his final few minutes, it would appear, of his Rangers career, can he pull something out of the bag to atone for the own goal and red card in the previous meeting? Celtic preparing now to take that corner kick then from over the left-hand side, but in no particular rush to do so, as they just look to run down the clock and make it another season following 27-2018, where they did not lose a single match to Rangers. So getting a bit towsy over there as Maida's shown the yellow card for his challenge on Diamonde, and Nick Walsh just needing to keep a lid on things here in the final few minutes as temper spray. But it's the Celtic fans doing all the singing. They are celebrating already, just as they were last weekend on Trophy Day. There's a delay here just for a check for that little coming together between, I think, Diamonde and Maida. And Nick Walsh is going across now to have a word with Tavernier and McGregor, who are in conversation, at least. I'm not sure.
I think Scales is there as well. It's Tavernier and Scales that are at it.
Just waiting on this ball to be played forward, basically, but Nick Walsh keeping a close eye on things. There's a possible red card check here now for serious foul play. Not entirely sure. It's Diamonde, I think, who's the man who is being checked. It seemed to slightly lash out as the ball broke free. Man United have won the FA Cup 2-1 against Manchester City, as we wait for this check by VAR on the challenge by Mohamed Diamonde. It's for violent conduct. It's been changed from serious foul play to violent conduct. Just as I say, pretty sure he kind of lashed out in frustration as much as anything else as the challenge, as he wasn't allowed to get free there of Dyson Maida. Maida was yellow carded for his part in it, and so the 8 minutes added on will be extended even further as we await the decision here from John Beaton in the VAR room. Let's bring Bobby Madden in on that, shall we, Bobby? Is there a case to answer here for Mohamed Diamonde?
So I think they've originally set up as serious foul play because that would mean challenging for the ball, but they've changed it to violent conduct. But for me, there's not enough force there to that to be considered violent.
Yeah, the check's over and it's all done. And play resumes with the Rangers trying to come forward and find an equaliser. Sima on the chase here as the ball's played through the middle, but Joe Hart off his line to clutch that one. And Rangers ruining the decision earlier to chop the Abdallah Sima goal off as he knocked the ball from literally centimetres out over the line, but Joe Hart was pushed by Nicolas Raskin was the decision, and the goal was chopped off. And then Adamida has the crucial goal just a few moments ago as Joe Hart again comes just at the edge of his area to launch it clear. Lundstrom now on the field of play, knocks it to McCausland. McCausland back the way to Balogun. We've played 6 minutes of added on time. There was 8 initially added. That'll be further on. It's going to be 10 we hear altogether, so just under 4 left to play as Lundstrom knocks it forward. Matondo gets his head to it. Scales will go back and try and play it to Joe Hart. Just manages to get there before Scott Wright. Well, there's a bit of indecision there in the Celtic backline between Scales and Hart, but Hart eventually taking charge, and to thwart Scott Wright, that was a chance.
Well, they get themselves in all sorts of problems, Pat, Scales and Hart, but for me, Scott Wright's got to do more, go with a bit more force, and if he does that, I don't think he gets a free kick against him, and he probably pokes the ball away and rolls it into an empty net.
Yeah, I think Joe Hart was always in control of that situation. Oh my word.
Rangers have it. Balogun taking a chance at the back. He's fouled by Bernardo though, just inside his own half. Rangers free kick, quickly taken. 3 minutes remaining. Davies forward down the right hand side. Tavernier's up there, can't get it before Taylor though. Taylor knocks it down the left. Bernardo will go and chase. It was his attempted shot that was parried into the path of Adamida, and Celtic have won themselves a free kick, and that is music to the ears of the Celtic fans, who are already celebrating away to our right in anticipation of a 13th double. Ida's down off the ball. Play continues though. The Rangers back in possession just inside their own half. Lundstrom goes over the top but not over Scales. He heads it down. Bernardo gets it to O'Reilly. One of O'Reilly's quieter games, you would have to say, but nonetheless it looks like his side are going to come out on top unless Rangers can provide something in the last couple of minutes here. It's Yilmaz back to Lundstrom, closed down by O'Reilly, can't get beyond him. O'Reilly, great play. Lundstrom goes, wraps round the foot of O'Reilly, and Celtic at the free kick, and Rangers hugely frustrated, but they just haven't been able to find the goal when they were on top, and they trail by a goal to nil in the few minutes that remain, seconds that remain. Celtic free kick 20 yards inside their own half, just ticking down the clock as much as possible. It's going to be yet another victory for Brendan Rodgers and Celtic over Rangers. They have that stranglehold over them in this fixture as Johnston prepares to take the free kick, launches it up towards the edge of the Rangers penalty area. Davies gets there ahead of Ida, who looks like being the match winner. Ida has it back, right hand side, little back heel into Bernardo. Good footwork from him. Rangers can't get it back, and he plays it off Davies, and it'll be a Celtic throw in, and it's just going the way of Celtic at the moment into the final minute of added on time.
Yeah, they're just trying to manage the game out and using all the things you would do, taking it down to the byline, trying to get throws in. Just it hasn't been a comfortable day for Celtic, I must admit, but they've got, again, it looks like they've got the job done.
Here's Scott Wright picking up for Rangers. Not too much time left as Carter Vickers dispossesses Sima, and then O'Reilly lifts the ball over Lundstrom, and Lundstrom's been penalised for the nature of the challenge there on O'Reilly, and Rangers just in danger of losing the discipline as they try to get the ball back, but they've conceded the free kick and there are only seconds remaining, and it is going to be more heartbreak for Philippe Clement and Rangers against Celtic.
Yeah, it's been a difficult one for them because they've put a lot into this game, and they were in at the first goal. As the game was going on and on and on, you could say the goal is going to win it.
It's all over! It is all over! Celtic, Scottish Cup winners once again, as the managers exchange a handshake. The Celtic players jubilant on the field. Likewise, their fans were behind the goal, away to our right, some of them trying to break out of the stands onto the pitch, stopped by the stewards. But it is on the 57th anniversary of the Lisbon Lions victory in the European Cup. A very apt victory for the current Celtic side. A 42nd Scottish Cup victory for their side. They have won 19 of the last 24 domestic trophies available to them. It was quite phenomenal from this Celtic side. A 13th double in their history, in addition to the 8 trebles. And they have proved once again just to be too good for Rangers. Try as their rivals might. They did have the ball in the back of the net through Abdallah Sima. Chopped off for a foul on Joe Hart. And then Adam Ida in the final minute of the 90. Stepping up to knock in the rebound after Jack Butland could only parry a Paulo Bernardo shot. And that was the decisive moment. The one goal that decided it. And at Hampden then, Celtic victors once more. It finishes Celtic 1, Rangers 0.
The Scottish Cup